Welcome one, welcome all. Back with another episode of the Wax Chronicles. Hot off a Pacers collapse that is just
a Pelican-esque
it's
fourth
just
quarter.
chef's kiss.
Oh God, I watched that. I literally was getting PTSD.
This game was a microcosm of what it's been like to be a Pacers fan. I would say post Paul George, Frank Vogel era. You know, they're playing up to their competition the whole game. I don't know if it was a wire-to-wire lead that they had on the Warriors, but they were in the lead for like 95%
up by 5 with less than 2 minutes, right?
Yeah. The Warriors took a 1-point lead with like a couple minutes left, trading buckets down the stretch. And again, it's just who the Pacers are. You can look like $1 million 95% of the time, but if you don't, if you can't maintain that for that last 5% chunk, you just fall flat. And it's just feels like all too common of a story, especially considering, all the trade stuff that's been going on lately. For those that don't follow super closely, management basically said like almost everyone's on the table, specifically calling out certain players. So, and then they're on a 3-game win streak, and then they're going up against the Warriors, the game they have no business even being, competitive in. But I don't know, man. That one was a heartbreaker. That one hurts. That one stings.
Hey, that was painful to watch, dude, because I was rooting so hard for the Pacers for multiple reasons. The longer stuff goes without the record, the happier I'll be. I'll just be honest with everybody out there. And I just want to see the Pacers smack the Warriors because I hate the Warriors. I have a soft spot for the Pacers because of your fandom. But it was just tough to watch, dude. To just have these leads and be getting good looks. Well, maybe not at the very end, but Miles turned out a couple looks from the corner, and it's just to have these looks and they were it was just a classic. Because good teams win these games.
Yeah,
and I still think the Pacers are a good team. I still would give them the Stone Cold Steve Austin thumbs up if we were to do our assessments right now.
Well,
because they literally should have won 4 games in a row, and it's things without their head coach, and so I still I'm just delusional about this team at this point. But it's I don't care how bad it gets for them. I still believe in them because the collection of talent and what they've proven already.
Well, and it just goes to the theory, man. Even after tonight, I think they're 12-17. They have one of the top. I think they're 10th or 11th in point differential, their net rating. Their point differential would say they're a bona fide playoff team, but their inability to know how to play basketball down the stretch. It's like you said, good teams win those games. It's
that's what separates a good and bad team.
Yeah, you can take point differential, you can take, where they rank with their offensive rating, where they rank with their defensive rating. You can try and paint a pretty picture of, believe in this team through that. The metrics say they're good, but it's no, we know they're not.
Right.
A team that collapses like this at a certain point, it's not it's not luck. Teams that collapse. So sorry you guys are catching me at a down moment. That game that sucked.
No, it was painful. It was a painful loss.
But I don't know, man. Ever the optimist. My heart of hearts, I want them to
They'll be in the plan. I hope I hope they don't make one move, dude.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Turbonis is fucking working like a charm this year. It's that's their best 2-man group on their advanced stats. So I don't know. That was a frustrating one.
I do think we need to cheer the fact that Steph didn't get the record though tonight. I'm excited about that. And that makes me think of one thing that happened the other day that was funny was when the Warriors played in Philly the other night, and how many threes was Steph away from breaking record? 13 or something?
Yeah, something like that.
And after the game, Sixers won the game, but after the game, some of the Philly players were we just weren't going to come in here and let him get it on our home court.
Oh my, yeah, I think JoJo even had a quote. He was not in
my
Philly.
Town.
Yeah.
And I was like, I love JoJo, so I think it's cool if he does it. But everybody else was So what? If somebody comes in and scores 25 in a game, you're like, yeah, we just weren't going to let him get 100 tonight. We're not letting him break Wilt's record. Not in our house. It's like, okay, say it when he's 3 away from the record. Don't say it when
nice
he's 13
consolation
or 14.
prize. Yeah, I mean,
like,
even the
it's just like even tonight, I was like, it was a stretch.
Yeah, I mean, he
like
needed to make 6. Or
6 to tie, 7 to take
6
the
to
lead.
tie, 7 to take it.
I thought it was 8 to take the lead.
I don't know. I thought it was
5?
I thought it was 6.
On NBA TV.
I thought he needed 6 to tie and 7 to take it.
I think you're right, because I think he only made 5, but it's weird because I thought the counter
2 away from
8.
surpassing. 2 away from surpassing after this game. So I mean, even that, like, no player should ever just be like, oh yeah, pencil him in for 7 threes. At least not as the game's currently played. We're getting there, but that's still like bullshit. Crazy.
No, it's not, dude. It's like, am I supposed to be? He shot 15 threes tonight. He went 5 for 15 from 3. You know how many guys in the NBA I think could go 5 for 15 from 3 if you gave him a chance? 70% of them.
This is not the hill you want to die on, though.
It is, dude. It is,
because he's done it. Because you could say that about anybody. Anybody could outperform that. You know, him at his lowest. But we have a huge sample size.
No, but I'm not even saying this is like I'm not even saying like, oh, he's a bad player, he just shoots a bunch. I'm just saying it's like I'm not.
It's not so crazy because he's so much better than everyone. He has more volume as well. Like that. Yeah, are you saying that needs to be?
Yeah, he's better than everybody, but at the same time too, it's like he shoots so many threes that it's like,
yeah,
a lot of players could make maybe not as many threes as him, but it's like if everybody shot 15 threes a game, like I don't know.
It's the Buddy Hield. I mean, he comes off the bench and he shoots 10 a game, and he shoots, I think, like a comparable, maybe slightly worse percentage than Steph most years. And it's like, okay, if he ratcheted that up, you know, he'd be, and he might still threaten for, well, no, he came in super late. You know, he was like a super old rookie. So, but no, these 3-point records are just going to get broken until the NBA wants to change rules, or I don't know.
Also, I will say though, like, sorry, I guess I'm sure we had some like attentions, but like, there's a lot of stuff that has happened. I feel like that I wanted to chat about. Like, I think we should spend some time talking about this 3-point record because, like you said with Buddy, I just don't know, dude. It's like I had so much respect for Ray and Reggie accomplishing those things, and like that. Like I remember when Ray broke it and he dapped up Reggie courtside, and Reggie was calling the game. Like that was a substantial moment. I was like, this is a big deal. But to me, like the 3-pointer and like the frequency with which it's taken has like cheapened how much that means to me. And it's almost like I don't want to go this far because it's not even close to fair comparison. But it's almost like feels like Bond's overtaken Aaron, where it's like. You know, it was a different type of game being played at the time when the initial record was set and seemed insurmountable. When the initial record was set and seemed insurmountable, but now it's just like, I mean, obviously baseball's not.
It's more than that, though. It'd almost be like comparing, like, you know, the juiced up sluggers from the '90s to like, you know, the brand of baseball where it was like the league leaders had like 25 jacks, like almost pre Babe Ruth.
Yeah,
because that's how much the game has changed. Like, I mean, it's like. Sometimes you can compare across eras. The 3-point records, I really pray that the sharpshooters from the early period of the game up through kind of the modern era aren't gone and forgotten, because, you know, it's going to be like 3 years before Ray Allen's not even, and that's probably hyperbole. It's probably closer to 10 years, but like he's not even going to be in the top 10 before we know it. Like it's going to go that fast. So,
yeah, it's
we got to maintain the legacy of those shooters.
It honestly makes me sad, dude. Cause it's like it's not really a factor of who's a great shooter who like puts so much fear, and it's like, okay, Buddy's a great shooter, but it's like you're gonna tell me that Buddy has the same effect on a basketball game as Ray Allen in terms of like, oh my god, like maybe that's just memory hero stuff, but it's like I don't know, dude. I mean, I feel like I get on my soapbox about 3-point shooting once every 2 weeks, but it's like this record, honestly. No, like it meant something to me up until now. Like once Steph gets it, I'll be like, okay, cool. And I'm sure by the time he is done, he's going to be like thousands of threes ahead of Ray.
I think,
but I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah,
like, who gives a shit?
I think Steph's worthy of being the king of the 3-point
I'm not going to argue.
Shot,
I think he's the greatest 3-point shooter ever.
Yeah,
but it's like I'm not impressed by this. Like I'm not.
What's going to happen after this? This is like, to me, this is a pure moment where we have Steph overtaking, but everything after this, with just the way the game is moving, it's this record is going to mean less and less and less year after year, I think.
Well, I mean, the writing was on the wall with this record 5 years ago, 8
Oh
years ago.
yeah.
Like even if Steph Curry would have went down with a career-ending injury, somebody's gonna like you said, there's gonna be some sixth man who breaks Ray Allen's record at some point. It's like, who gives a shit?
Yeah, it's going to be
Ray Allen was the 3-point. He was the shooter guy, as JJ Redick would say. I'm the
true,
fucking
true.
shooter guy. He was Steph Curry before Steph Curry, and now he's just like.
Here's one for you. Already, Wes Matthews is top 25. Already,
yeah, that makes me want to vomit. He's like,
so
how many? He had like, how long was his like career?
He's gonna pass. He's gonna pass Peja, Rashard Lewis, Kobe, Chauncey Billups, maybe JJ Redick in his career, maybe Dirk. So I mean, it's gonna be a lot of role players overtaking all-time great shooters, and
yeah,
I hope that like almost era adjusted 3-point shooting is accounted for.
Yeah, I wonder if they did like a I don't even know how to measure that, but it's just like
they kind of do. I mean, it's like the true shooting, like field goals added.
okay.
That's not a perfect representation of that, and I might be misquoting that entirely, but that's my understanding of it. Is it compares how efficient and kind of a player's makeup of how they get their points to where league average was. So, their variance to the mean. I don't know. I think there's stats out there trying to accommodate for that. So
stupid. It's stupid. Now like
yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, I heard on the broadcast the Warriors play in Madison Square Garden next.
Mm-hmm.
So of course he's going to break in Madison Square Garden. It's like everyone's going to jack off about it. I'm just like, this motherfucker, man.
Dang, you are.
I hate this, dude. It's like watching the Warriors play where he hunts so hard for threes. I'm just like, it ain't natural. It's like literally like, I just fucking hate it. 15 threes in a game, and it's like, no sweat.
Well, yeah, I mean,
that's 15 threes.
And I think we've hinted at it before, but it's like playing pickup and playing the little organized basketball that we did. It's like the guy who is just like pulling with no conscious and like not playing team and not to say Steph doesn't play team basketball, because obviously he does, but the guy who just like is always hunting for his 3-point shot, you're like, I never want to play with that guy. Like it's not fun for anyone on the court. And like,
yeah, but I will say though, like if we're talking about pickup basketball, it's one thing. Everybody's trying to get their shit in, but it's like if you're trying to win championships, it's like if a guy shoots like Steph and is going to take all the shots, please do. I just want to win. Yeah. But he's good enough to not do that, but he's good enough to do that. Like he's good enough to not just like hunt threes all the time. But then he's so good at threes, it's like, why wouldn't he? So I'm just like,
yeah.
I don't know. It's just it's again disturbing. But I will say, I was going to segue to this. Did you see the article that they had on in ESPN Plus, and also I think the Ringer did an article about how KD's like redefining like high level scoring and like you don't have to take a bunch of fucking threes.
Yeah, his I don't even remember what he's shooting from mid range. It's
like
and 60% or something.
And I think Kurt Goldsberry did some charts like he does, and like the 3-point shooting is slowing down between this year and last year, and so who knows if that'll bear out for the future, and who knows how much has changed because the reffing has changed a little bit. But I thought that was interesting. I don't know if that's I more so would see that as like a blip on the radar and not like, oh, we're heading back down, just based on like tonight's performance where it's like people shoot 15 threes and don't even bat a God's eyes. So I don't know.
No, and like I don't know, sucks that it's kind of like only considered playoff basketball, but it's cool. And I wish it was, this is not an original thought, but the way the Suns play, their shot profile, the throwback, their pace, obviously it's a Chris Paul team. Pace is going to be, not very high. But they're kind of the throwback, and the Warriors are kind of the, they represent everything about kind of the news. I mean, they literally were the team that like popularized this movement. Like I don't think they're the first, but they definitely were the most successful with it. But I mean, that's such a natural storyline. I mean, they're the two best teams in the league. I don't think anybody's disputing that. And they play, opposite ends of the spectrum. So I don't know. I wish that type of stuff would get more coverage, similar to like the Kevin Durant stuff. Like he is, and not everyone's Kevin Durant, so not everyone should, try to mimic his shot profile. But
everyone should.
what he's doing this year is just, I mean, I don't know. He's got to be the
That's the thing,
greatest
is like
scorer in the history of the game.
I want him to be my least favorite player ever, but it's like I respect how he gets his points too much, dude. Like all I ever
He's
do
like
is
the most
whine and
pure
complain.
basketball player ever.
Yeah, all I ever do is whine and complain about like wanting players to take mid-range jump shots and like get to the rim and stuff. And it's like he just does everything his way, and he's not like, I don't know. I need to stop my rant now because I've been going on for too long. But it's just nice to see players who, and I'm not trying to be like one of those motherfuckers who's like, I hate the NBA. There's no mid range, because it's like that's been proven that the NCAA is even more threes than the NBA. But it's like, I don't know. It's just like nice to see a guy who just can get it in all ways, as opposed to just like, I'm just going to shoot a bunch of threes. And you're going to chase me around. I'm going to shoot threes.
Well, and like, I'll just be very upfront. Like, you and I were both like the old man yelling at the sky. Like, I think a certain brand of basketball is more appealing and entertaining to watch, and this brand of basketball is always going to feel less than that. I'm aware that that's like trash bias. It's not rooted in really anything other than like my own personal feelings, but like it's also my opinion. I still respect the game and the way it's played today, but it's not my bag, baby.
Yeah, well, I mean, it still is, I would say, because we love this, but like not compared to the past. And like today was like the first time I've had that realization of I can see why older generations of fans are so like sitting on the porch yelling at everybody going by, because it's like I'm starting to feel that way, where it's like this is the thought I had, is like the way the game of basketball is played right now, if like Steph Curry is like the model of what this game looks like, and he's like what people strive to be moving forward, that will never be better than LeBron. I don't care how good of a Steph Curry, like realistically, like if you had a guy like Steph Curry who shot 45% from three and made 50 more threes than Steph a year, I would not put that anywhere near LeBron. And I can see now why older people are like, this brand of basketball does not compare to the brand of basketball that I watch. Like, it's the stuff that people say about Jordan is like, he was getting hand checked all night. They were defending him in these ways that they can't defend now. He was like, you could clobber him and he, it would just be a common foul. Like these things, it's like, I understand that now. I mean, I still don't side with those people because I'm always going to ride or die with LeBron, but I'm starting to see how they feel now. It's like, it doesn't matter how good Steph Curry can average 40 a game. I wouldn't give a fuck. I'm not ever going to call him better than LeBron based on how he plays the game.
Well, yeah, and it's like, it's almost like when you go into the GOAT conversation, which is, everyone's had it, but it's like if you go in with like a criteria shaped by a certain play style, like I don't know. I mean, that's literally what bias is. I mean, it's not to say that like any one person's opinion is right or wrong on the GOAT thing, but it's just like, I don't know. I mean, there's a reason why it's a conversation until the end of time. It's a fun conversation to have.
Right.
So I don't know. I didn't think that was the direction we were going to go off the jump, but I'm glad we did.
I brought some sick ass numbers with me.
I have one question real quick.
Yeah.
Just I just wanted the pulse of a Pelicans fan on the recent Zion kind of, it looked like things were good. Then it's another hiccup and now we're kind of left in limbo. And I don't know. There's been promising news. There's been setbacks. Where's your head on it?
It's honestly just depressing more than anything, because I mean, I've gotten to the point, it kind of ties back to our conversation with Jesse about the Damian Lillard stuff, where it's like, I'm not going to believe anything any of these motherfuckers are saying. Cause like you see Tim McMahon, was it Tim McMahon?
The 330.
He weighs 330. You see this picture and it's like, oh my God, he's looking terrible. Then you see pictures where he looks like he did in his rookie year. And like he's like, oh, he can definitely play it this way. He looks just fine. And but now you're hearing about all these things about the study habits and the rehab habits, and it's like I don't believe it. I don't believe it because like there's never been a better time than to just throw mud at Zion.
Yeah, people are just piling on. It's just so.
Yeah, and it's like
not being in the Pelicans universe. It's so bizarre to watch from the outside. I just have to mention that.
it's interesting too because like you'll look at the same post and like this isn't even about basketball. So I apologize for saying this. This is just me venting because this is starting to really make me fucking angry. But like you'll see one post on the main NBA Reddit page, and it'll be about like Zion and his habits or Zion
Mhm.
sleeping through film study, and they'll be like, "Oh my God, all how could you possibly not care about the game this much? Like you're getting paid so much money, just watch what you eat, or you're getting paid so much money, just it's so easy, just do this." And it's just like hundreds of comments of that, or like Pelicans fans are in denial about this guy. He's like he's already Sean Kemp, late career Sean Kemp. He's blah blah blah, and like I get defensive Zion because I love Zion. Even if Zion never played another game for the Pelicans, I will always love him for the fact that he brought hope to this franchise.
Mhm.
And even if it was completely false hope, there's never been more like a brighter, a more seemingly brighter future than the day he was drafted.
Well,
And
no,
that's
and
something you can't replace.
his play last year, I mean,
Yeah, he's a fucking
he
beast. And
was.
so
I don't think that like if you're talking pure impact, he's in the conversation for a top 10 player in the league, and he's played like 65 or 85 games,
80, yeah, yeah,
85,
85,
86
and he's
games. It's
missed
like
86.
guys basically played a season and he's elite, like elite.
Elite. Yeah. And so like on the main NBA Reddit, you have everybody calling Pelicans fans idiots. Like, this guy is
Mhm.
already eating his way out of the league. He doesn't care. He wants out in New Orleans. He's just trying to get out of there as soon as possible. Then you have like people like me who are like completely optimistic about the situation because we all love Zion. Like, so
Mhm.
I'll read that same exact article on the Pelican subreddit, and everybody will be like, the big news media, big sports media, they just want Zion out. They're just trying to ruin this. They don't know anything about what's going on. I'm not going to believe this till they're like me. They're very much
Yeah.
deniers in this, and so at this point, I'm just not going to believe one thing I read about Zion until I'm just going to wait and see him on the court. Hopefully next year, at the beginning of next year,
Yeah.
because this is the same injury that I believe Ben Simmons and JoJo had, and they missed full seasons because of this. And they obviously all have different body types, and Zion plays differently than them. Like
Mhm.
Zion has a much closer body type to Joel Embiid. They're bigger guys, albeit not in the same way. And uh,
But he's
there were times,
explosive.
yeah, but
He's
he's
like a
explode. He's like
yeah.
a mixture of Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. So,
Yeah.
um,
Crazy.
and so like apparently the Jones fracture that he has in his foot is like it happens on kind of like the edge of the foot, the fifth metatarsal or whatever. I don't know
Mhm.
jack shit about medical stuff, but
It's
apparently there's
really
like
similar to what I had actually.
oh really? It's like a lower
Mhm.
blood flow area, so it's hard
Mhm.
for the recuperation and recovery. And so I honestly don't want him to come back this season. I just want him to rest, try and train when it's appropriate, do like low impact stuff if he can, and try and watch his diet as much as he can so he can
Mhm.
be ready for training camp next season. Because this season's a lost season that's been established. And
Oh
like,
yeah, I mean, they could make a run and at best end up as like a 9 or 10 seed.
yeah, and it's
Like
like and this is
especially considering his current timetable, even that seems like dicey.
yeah, and like this kind of pains me because like Madison and I are going to the Pelicans game on Wednesday in Oklahoma City, and we're sitting like have I told you about the seats
Hmm.
on these bad boys?
Hmm.
For all the viewers out there, we're going to be sitting in the second row up from floor seats, uh, at the on the or entering the Pelicans tunnel. So I will be one of the motherfuckers hanging over the edge, giving bonus to the dudes. And I don't know if Zion's going to be traveling with the team anymore now that they've kind of reshut him down.
Yeah.
But I don't even want him going to the games anymore because the fans, like the Wizards
Well,
fans, were
yeah,
chanting stuff the other night. It's like Zion doesn't deserve this. Like
yeah. It's and that's like the whole circus around this. That just being like a Pacers fan and then like a broader fan of the league. It's just like it's crazy to me that this happens. Like people are photoshopping his pictures. It's just like, what are we doing? Like, I thought we came to an agreement that like tabloid culture was a fucking nightmare. I mean, like the whole Britney Spears, and not to go way off on a tangent, but all this stuff came out. We all felt bad. We all like mourned for these like young Hollywood stars and the way we treated them. And it's like, what? Now we're just doing the same thing with Zion, and it's just like, what are we doing? Like, let him like rehab like he's a kid. Well, like, and like I hate to just be that guy, but it's so bizarre to me. It's like upsetting. Like, what are we doing?
yeah,
And
that's
like
that's
the fan chants, I was just like like that's classless. Like
Yeah, I
that
literally
is
want to fight those. Like if I'm an OKC and Zion's there and they're chanting that, I literally want to fight.
yeah,
Those
I would get in a confrontation with people.
yeah.
Like a
So
fit like blows
I
my
don't know.
mind, dude. I
Yeah,
hate that. The
that
one
and that's
thing, sorry, go ahead.
no. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was
Please.
just gonna say the one thing, and I think it goes back to either the last week or maybe 2 weeks ago. It seems like the Pelicans front office and everybody at some point, maybe it was even further back than this, but it seems like they very much decided like, hey, we're gonna stand by Zion, and you know, it seems like everything they do is in. It seems like they're on the same page to me. More so than they had been in the past. And I was optimistic about that a few weeks ago, and I'm still optimistic about that. So I don't know. Because I know like there's been times where reporting and stuff and speculation about how like Zion and Griffin in the front office, how there's like a weird strained relationship there. But it seems like they're all in for Zion, which is good.
Yeah, I just don't understand, dude. It's so frustrating because it's like I'm just like so tired of hearing all the negative stuff about his situation. It's like
Mm-hmm.
he's not playing, just let him recover. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna like I said, like he could say he could come out tomorrow and say I'm never playing for the Pelicans again. I don't like it here. I want to be somewhere
Mm-hmm.
else. And I'll still love him. I'll still appreciate him because A, they didn't do anything right to put a team around him that could help
Yeah.
him succeed and be the player he wants to be. And B, like it goes back to that thing is like the feeling of hope for a franchise is like how many teams actually win titles? Pacers never won an NBA championship. Pelicans never won an NBA championship. So hope is better than like actually contending because
Well,
like
yeah. I
at
mean,
the
if
end of the day, our teams are never going to win anything. So it's like hope is like the best thing.
yeah,
And
it's
when Zion got drafted and like his interview after he got drafted, he was crying, thanking his mom, and like the whole like let's dance thing, and just like seeing him in summer league rip the ball from Kevin Knox, and it's like
mm-hmm.
those will be some of my favorite memories in my entire life. And
Oh
I
yeah.
don't care if that's all I get from him. That's more than enough for me, and I'll always appreciate Zion for that. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I could write a literal love letter to Zion, no matter what he does. Like he
Yeah,
provided hope to like the most desolate franchise in the effing league. So
he's in that like anointed territory for me.
yeah, 100%.
Giannis, LeBron, Zion. I probably have a couple other guys in there that you don't. But
Yeah, you're a
yeah,
bitch.
just guys that are. I'm out here
Duarte.
supporting your ass.
Yeah, you're about to say Duarte.
Hey, fuck you! I'll go mask off, dude. I'm out here
Uh,
supporting your ass, and I
no,
get
I
that.
appreciate it. No, but I would be lying though. Is like I wish if there could just be one season in New Orleans of Zion at like his Duke playing weight
Oh
and
god.
just like him like blocking shots into the 10th row, 360 dunks in
Mm-hmm.
games. Like I just want 1 year of that, and then like he could leave and say sayonara. But I will say that would be the one thing I'm hoping for is like I don't think the Pelicans will ever win anything like as like in the next decade.
Yeah,
But if
without
there could at
like
least be one season of like
organizational changes.
yeah, if there could just be one season of highlight factory shit and
Maybe they're frisky, like a seven
yeah,
seed.
yeah, maybe like a 7 seed that knocks on the door. And
Mm-hmm.
like I know they had a great season a few years ago with Drew and Anthony Davis and Rondo, but
Mm-hmm.
uh like something like that again with Zion would just like make my
Yeah.
life.
Yeah. No, that's I don't know. I don't know. Like I hate to be this guy. I don't know how likely it is that he ever gets we see that explosiveness again, just because I mean that's probably the most explosive person to ever put rubber to the wood. Like that's that stuff was once in a lifetime. I do hope to see, a lighter version of him, a little more explosiveness. But I mean, he
No, I'm
showed that.
not, but yeah, but if he's 310, 320, I don't give a fuck either, as
I
long as he can stay
mean,
healthy. I just
he
want him to be
was
healthy.
maybe the most effective offensive player in the league last year, still like catching up to the speed of the game at, I don't know what his weight was, but he was playing mostly below the rim when they started to let him off the leash as a pick and roll ball handler more in like after the first third of the season, because it seemed like weren't they like hesitant to use that anyways. But yeah, man, even if we got that version back, I mean,
Well,
he's
dude,
a generational talent.
I'm
So
just depressed, dude. This is his third year, or I guess is this his third year?
yeah.
And I still haven't seen him play yet. and this is starting to tick me the fuck off because I just want
Yeah.
to see him play. And the Wizards game got canceled when COVID started, and
So unlucky.
yeah, I
What are the
just want to
odds?
see him play so bad. And it's like
Yeah.
that's depressing. Like I'm obviously still excited to see the Pelicans play, but like it's just like God, I just want to see him, dude. I just want to
Yeah.
see. But I know we've both had those moments where like your first NBA game when we went to one in Indiana. Well, not counting the exhibition when we were kids, but it's like you see players, and there are some that are just like you're
Oh,
starstruck by. Like
yeah.
I think we're both starstruck to a certain extent with all of them, but there are some where it's just like, holy shit.
Yeah. It
Zion
almost
is that
like,
level for me.
oh, I bet. I bet. Yeah. Dude, still maybe the most magical thing that's ever happened in my life was that LeBron in Denver. That was
Oh, mama,
what in the
dude.
world, dude.
We signed up for the LeBron experience, dude. We got everything. He was hitting J's. He was jamming.
And I know the Pepsi, it wasn't at the Pepsi Center.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know they were notorious for rooting for the other team, but by the end of that, man, it was like LeBron chance, MVP chance. I was
He
like,
deserved every one of them.
all right, yeah, was it a 40
Um,
point triple double and he hit like 5 buckets in a row in the last 4 minutes in the
was it
lockdown
a
of the game?
40-point triple double? Holy
Because
fuck.
it might have been
And we were like
39,
we
maybe.
were like 10 rows behind the Cavs bench for $100. Shout out to
Oh
the
my
Pepsi Center.
good
Shout out to all the
lord, dude.
Nuggets fans for not giving a fuck.
True. Yeah, that was the craziest moment. I'm like, oh, seeing LeBron do that. Or even just honestly was seeing him in warm-ups when you're like, oh, I'm like 35, 40 feet from this guy.
Dude,
It's
that okay, so that's a good segue because I had that exact same thought again. Every time I see him, I do. I think so. For all the viewers, I think I may have alluded to it in the past weeks, but Madison and I went to Lakers Thunder game on Friday, whatever the fucking date was. It was finally the game where the Lakers held on against the Thunder. Go figure. Anthony Davis was out, LeBron was on. But I think I was trying to think in my head. I think that's the fifth time I've seen LeBron in person. But we were watching the game. And I was like, and we had nosebleeds. We had nosebleed seats this time. Not we haven't spoken about this, so I wanted to kind of tell you about
yeah,
something.
I
Did you
wanted to
see the?
save
Did you
it for
watch the
this.
highlight? Did you watch the highlight? You did. Okay, so you saw,
Mhm.
dude. We were spoiled, and so anyway, we were up in the nosebleeds. But I was talking to Madison. I'm like, it is crazy to think that like some people would argue that it's Jordan, whoever, LeBron, Kareem, but for you and I's money, it's LeBron. And I was like, it is so crazy that the greatest basketball player that has ever lived is literally right there. And it's just
Mhm.
so weird for me to think about that, to see him playing. We get to watch somebody who is arguably better at what he's good at than anybody in anything. Like he is what like pick a painter is to painting, or
Yeah.
pick a mathematician is to math. Like he's that to basketball,
Mhm.
but to a higher level than anybody. And I was just like, it just like trips me out seeing him because I'm like, that's
Yeah.
fucking LeBron.
Truly surreal. Like
Yeah,
to not
and
see him through a screen was like just I don't know.
well, yeah, and that's like I know I've said it a million times, but it's like, and you and I joked because we were talking the other day about like LeBron playing till if he's really serious about playing with Bronny, that's going to be like 3 years from now. So he's going to be here
Mhm.
for 3, 4 more years, and so there's going to be more opportunities to see him, but it's like who knows with injuries, who knows? So it's nothing's
Mhm.
guaranteed. So like that's anybody who watches this who doesn't know us lives in India City. Every time LeBron comes to town, watch this game. You can get in, if you're not living in like a crazy market. Like luckily the Thunder fucking
Mhm.
blow, and we were able to get nosebleed tickets for like $40 a piece. But it's like every time you can see LeBron, and
Well,
that's one
and
of my biggest regrets in life is not seeing Kobe play when I had so many opportunities to see Kobe play.
yeah. To quote the number one blog boy himself, Kevin O'Connor, don't take LeBron James for granted. Uh there's a lot of players you should start saying that about because we've been pretty fortunate to like, Melo. I've never seen Melo.
Yeah, that was my second time
I
seeing Melo
probably
too, so I
won't.
was pretty excited. Yeah,
And it's
well,
like
make it happen, dude. There's no excuses, dude. There's no excuses.
talking to the master, dude.
Well,
I
no,
could
I'm
rattle
saying
off 50 right now, dude.
no, but think about it. You are gonna have the same regrets you had about Kobe with Melo, dude, and it's fucking Melo. And seeing him hit a corner three in person and then do the three to the head is like,
Well, that's the
yeah.
thing, dude. Like, yeah, not making those sacrifices anymore. So, um,
Um. Anyway, I want to give the report though. Um, LeBron tore up the Thunder's asshole all night, and this is like something I get way too much pleasure from, having watched basketball for as long as you and I have, having been like I've been to, I wouldn't say, maybe I don't know, 15, 20 NBA games in person now. And I still like keep a mental tally of LeBron's in-person dunks because I don't know what it is about seeing him dunk a basketball that gets me so excited. Like, because I remember the first two times I saw LeBron, he didn't dunk it either time. I'm like, motherfucker, am I ever going to see him dunk a basketball? And so he had three dunks against the Thunder.
Spoiled rotten.
Like two, yeah, he had like two semi posters. One on Trey Mann. He had another one. I can't fucking remember, but they were good dunks. He had one on a fast break where he crammed it off a pass from Russell Westbrook, I believe.
I know I saw that one.
Yeah, they were solid dunks. They weren't just like some bullshit dunks. He was dunking and getting in ones. He had one of his classic LeBron fadeaways where he's in like the mid post and fades about 40 feet.
Oh my gosh.
He fades from the mid post to the bench.
Yeah.
And then jogs back up and it's pure net. He had one of those.
Those are so crazy too.
Yeah,
like, just thinking about actually doing that on a basketball court, so absurd.
It's so fucking hard.
It's just so goofy.
And it was funny because like he did like a million great things. He dominated the game. I think he had, what did he have? 18 in like the first 12 minutes of his playing. Like first quarter and a half, he had like 18. He was like if he wanted to, he could have scored 50 on that night. But it was funny. The one play that I looked over Madison, was like, he's so fucking good. Was that fadeaway? I was like, that fadeaway is so automatic and so good. I was just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And anyway, it was an awesome game to watch because again, not a Lakers fan, LeBron fan, but just they got a lead and they held, which is just like crazy to see.
Yeah, you always love to see that. Yeah.
And so LeBron was awesome. Got to see Melo. And so I wish I would have got to see Melo not in the twilight of his career because I saw him with the Blazers in Washington, D.C.
Hey, better late than never, though.
Yeah.
Would have been cool to see like Garden Melo.
Yeah. But dude, the DMV turned out for Melo because, he's from the Baltimore area. So I will say that was really cool how much support he had when he came there.
Nice.
But anyway, I want to finish off on the Lakers Thunder. I don't want to monopolize too much of our time, but there was one point, I forget which dunk it was that LeBron had, but LeBron had a dunk, and then they came back down. And did you see Trey Mann's dunk? Oh my God. You have to see. Dude, it's so crazy. I looked on NBA Reddit. It wasn't like I scrolled through the first 3 pages, like what's there. I wonder how many dunks like there are like that a night that I don't see on games I don't watch.
Ain't that the truth?
Dude, to me, it was a number one overall play. It was the nastiest dunk I've ever seen in person.
Was it on Wayne Ellington?
Yeah, he murdered it, dude. I don't understand how it wasn't a play.
Gonna get a live look in here.
A live, you're watching Bailey Witness
react
live.
Yo, what the fuck?
They didn't even replay it. Like
what the? I mean, it's like the most pure poster. Like,
dude, do you have can you hear the audio?
Yeah,
dude, the crowd was so loud.
Dang.
And like Madison does it takes a lot to get Madison hyped to basketball, and she was like, "Oh my gosh." That
must have been crazy to see live.
That was the best dunk I've ever seen in person. And
Dang.
It was like he freaking hammered it, dude.
Well,
LeBron had a sick lob. I don't know. Anyway, enough about me, and I just wanted to report back. I also wanted to give.
We should have let off the top with that, dude. Fuck the Pacers.
No, we need to talk about the Pacers and Steph Curry. It's topical, but I also wanted to report back with the Josh Giddey. See, this is what we do at Wax Chronicles. If we have a user who has a question, I will personally attend. You name the player. It doesn't matter who. It doesn't matter what. I will personally go watch a game there so I can get back to you the inside.
What other podcast offers you that?
No, nobody. So I went to Josh Giddey play specifically at the request of our listener J-Man, and I can say that he seems pretty solid. He had some blow-bys and some layups, and
how was the hair looking, dude?
Yeah, he looked good. It feels like everybody in that whole fucking arena wants to suck his dick, but he had a dust up with Melo too, which was
really?
It was a dust up in the sense where it's like somebody fouls and holds on to him after the play, but not like a dust up like in your face. So that was kind of nice. I want to see Melo put him on his ass, but I mean, the fact that Giddy's like 19 years old, he's playing like he's that effective against these grown
Oh
men
my
is
gosh.
because that's
He's
another thing. When I was talking to Madison about that, I was like, it's so imagine being a high schooler and playing this 35-year-old man. Like that's
nuts.
crazy.
Nuts.
And like,
And not
I mean,
just 35-year-old men, the most elite players to ever play the sport. Like you'll get freaking bodied by 35-year-old dudes down at the freaking men's city
right,
league.
right, right.
Like
So I don't know. I just have a ton of
he's
respect for
yeah.
anybody who comes out of high school. That's impressive stuff. And like, um, one thing I was a little bit disappointed. SGA had a terrible game, and like I was
Yeah.
really looking forward to watching him. And like it was a blowout early, so I don't know. It turned into the Trey Man show. I'd be willing to bet he had a career high in that game. He just hit threes and
Dang.
jamming and stuff. But there's the book report on Josh Giddey, though. He's good. He seems
Very
pretty good.
nice. Very nice.
Or his lead. Have you used? Did you used to
Bleeding
watch?
edge
Yeah.
analysis.
Did you used to watch the starters or
Little tiny bit.
Lee Ellis? Like he does the fuck was it? His very solid play. Like it would just be like it could be no dunks or any crazy stuff. It's just like good ball
Nice
movement, Yeah,
fundamental. Yeah.
very solid play. And he'd always do like the two thumbs up. Anyway,
No,
I still watch them. They're like they're called no dunks now. They do like the stuff on YouTube. They're awesome.
I always wanted
Like
to.
I'm gonna dominate this entire conversation, not let you say one more word since that's what I've been doing.
Okay.
This is a
Fine by
one man
me.
show now. No, I just want to say one more thing. I almost feel like we're kind of adjacent to them and like the things we find comedic in terms of like basketball and things like we find like reporting on this is fun, but they're obviously more clean than us, and they
Oh,
obviously
for
are way more
sure. A
successful.
thousand times more talented, more
Yeah,
smarter,
exactly.
cooler, way
When
sicker dudes.
I look at basketball podcasts, those dudes are guys that I think are cool that I look up to, like who aren't like necessarily like Zach Lowe or Kevin O'Connor, but they seem like normal dudes, but at a high level.
Yeah, I always wanted to try to do the deep dive, but like I felt I was just too far behind the curve on the inside jokes, and it was like intimidating. So I could never fully. I was just like, I don't know. My head was spinning after like 2 episodes. It's like, what the fuck's going? But no, they're super entertaining. Those guys are, yeah.
Oh, it used to be the Basketball Jones. I started listening to them when I was in Indiana way back in the
Dang, that is way back. They've had like 4 iterations.
Yeah. I mean, they live the dream. Dude. They started a basketball podcast. And they got hired on by NBA TV. Now, they're doing something now. It's like those motherfuckers are legends.
Yeah. I mean, that literally is the dream. Outside of being a basketball player,
right?
It actually takes hard work. So I guess I don't know. Did you want to get into like a trade deadline primer?
Yeah. Before we get into that though, I wanted to tie back to the 3-point shooting conversation. I know it's been a while since I had my weirdo stat, but I found one that I found interesting. I just came across it. So, pardon me looking down. I have it stored in my device here. So we were speaking about 3-pointers, and I was looking at who took the most 3-pointers in a single game in NBA history. And it's a disgusting list. Makes you want to vomit. Klay Thompson is number one. Took 24 threes in 2018. You're not taking 24 threes in a game. I don't want to see a team take one.
Nobody should. Yeah.
And anyway, the list is dominated by Klay Thompson, James Harden, Steph Curry, Marcus Smart. I don't know if you remember that Marcus Smart game. That was kind of funky. I remember just chucking a bunch of fucking threes. He was hitting them though, for like 45% or something. James Harden, J.R. Smith in 2014. We all remember that game. I remember J.R. was shooting threes, and I saw the box score. What the fuck? Steph, Danny Green. Danny Green did that.
That one's kind of surprising.
Yeah. In Philly, he shot 21 threes last year, which that is surprising. Buddy Hield, Kobe Bryant in 2016. R.I.P. Kobe. His last game, he shot that many threes. Yeah. So nothing crazy there.
Legendary game.
Yeah, I'm gonna skip
all-time legendary game.
Yeah. Every time they reshow that NBA TV, I just like can't turn my eyes away.
Yeah.
I'm gonna skip a player who shot 21 threes. That is the reason I'm bringing this up. Then we have Steph 20, Steph 20, Steph 20, Dame 20, James Harden 20, James Harden 20, James Harden 20. So out of this list of top 20, there is one that is such an anomaly.
Well, yeah,
it's so fascinating.
It seems like everybody you've mentioned is the exact the usual suspects, the guys you would 100%.
Yeah, and it's like even the ones
all
that aren't
over
like
that.
even the ones that aren't like Marcus Smart happened in 2020.
Mhm.
Doesn't really freak me out that much. Or J.R. Smith, ultimate chucker.
Oh yeah.
Everybody else, other than Marcus Smart and J.R. Smith, and Danny Green's a little bit freaky. Everybody else is expected. Lillard, Curry, Harden, Thompson, Buddy Hield.
Yeah.
But and Kobe too. But there's one that you would never guess in a million years.
Can
it
I
is
ask
so
for any
fascinating.
hints?
Point guard who was a rookie in the mid-90s. And no, it is not Dana Barros. This is not a Dana
I
Barros.
was gonna go Starberry.
No, that's a good guy. I mean, this was like I saw this and I was like, must be a fucking typo. He shot 21 threes in a game. And this happened in 2005. 2005.
No clue.
Dude, I was in fucking despair.
Who?
Mighty Mouse, dude.
Ah.
No, it gets even weirder. Let me pull up the box score here. So it was in April 5th, on April 15th of 2005, the Blazers were playing the Warriors in Golden State. And the Blazers were 25-54. So lost
Trash.
season for Portland. The Warriors were 32-48. A lost season for them as well. And keep in mind, Blazers were 25-54, so that puts them at 79 games. I don't know if this game was the 79th game or if this game was the 80th game based on basketball reference. I need to look at it. But anyway, like 3 games left in the season. Blazers are playing for absolutely nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at the box score. Damian Stoudemire played 48 minutes. He played every single second.
Somebody needs to answer for that. What the fuck is going on?
He played every minute. The rest of the starting lineup was Sharif Abdur-Rahim, Ruben Patterson, Joel Prisbilla, and Travis Outlaw. That was our starting lineup they rolled out. Victor Krajapa, Richie Fram of 2K Lore, and Ha-Sung Jin were the only 8 players who played. Don't look into this. I want to read this to you.
Tall Asian guy with the bowl cut?
Yeah. Don't look at, and he only played 2 minutes. So essentially there were 7 players who played.
Dang.
So don't look at this. I want to read this to you, and I want you to be shocked and awed by my research. So they only had 7 players who played. Richie Fram was one of them. He played 18 minutes, shot 5 for 10, 4 for 8 from 3. So okay, that motherfucker's Kyle Korver. He's mad. Anyway, they were playing against the Warriors. They had B. Diddy, Mike Dunleavy, Troy Murphy, Jay Rich, Adonal Foyle, Andres Biedrins, Michael Pietris, Derek Fisher, and Zarko Kabarkapa. And then on the bench, Rodney White, Nicholas Skitisvili, and Calvert Chaney. The 3 of those guys didn't play. Anyway, that's not important. Warriors won by 20 points. But again, let's go back to Mighty Mouse. He played all 48 minutes. 6 for 25 from the field. 6 for 25 from the field. Shot 240. 5 for 21 from 3. He was 1 for 4 from 2, 5 for 21 from 3, 1 for 2 from the line. Get this: 12 boards, 11 dimes, 2 steals, 7 turnovers, 18 points. So he had a triple double, shot 21 threes. Without watching this game, can you see a motherfucker just not giving a fuck more than this?
As you kept reading the rap sheet that freaking stat line is, I was like, we were hinting at like, oh, the guys who chuck 3-pointers in the pickup game suck to play with. Wham.
Yeah,
this sounds like the most unpleasant, and it sounds like the ultimate like bad stereotype of like the worst point guard you ever heard of. Just literally does not give a fuck. Doesn't get taken out. Who was the coach at that time?
I wonder if it was Mo Cheeks. Yeah, it's Mo Cheeks.
I mean, is he just like not even there? What?
Wait. Maybe I'm wrong.
Or is their rotation so short? Like, were there injuries?
Mo Cheeks and Kevin Pritchard coached that year. I'm not sure who finished off the year. I could see Mo Cheeks being fired because.
Yeah, and then Pritch being interim.
Yeah, and well, I don't know what Pritch was trying to achieve by playing Damon Stoudemire 48
Damon
minutes.
Stuttermeyer.
Yeah, I'm Stuttermeyer. But I mean, that's interesting. Yeah, because I mean, this is the Blazers team that also had Darius Miles. I know Darius Miles and Mo Cheeks had a serious clashing. I should also mention, because I mentioned the entire Warriors roster, some DNPs were also for the Blazers. Their remaining DNPs were Sebastian Telfair, Theo Ratliff, D. Miles, and Derek Anderson.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
I wonder they must have been short because like, and just literally nobody gave a fuck at that point. Because how do you,
well, yeah, it said it here. Well, here in the box score, it says Derek Anderson was not with team. Theo Ratliff was not with team. D. Miles and Sebastian Telfair did not dress.
dude?
But at the same
The
time,
perfect witch's brew for a
yeah, it
crazy
is,
fucking
dude.
game.
I wouldn't expect Damon Stoudemire to be the one to play 48 minutes. Like he was like 30 or
Yeah,
31
he's
years old at that
old.
point. Yeah. And it's crazy. Like that's a game I want to watch just to see. Like I want to see his body language and
Oh yeah, yeah.
because
His
dude,
interactions with the coach during like time, I would love to see that. Like, what
dude,
are his teammates?
yeah, because like yeah, dude, to go to yeah to be one of the worst teams in the league on like one of the in the last week of the season, and to be playing with guys such as Richie Fram.
Well, yeah, I'm like it. I did not hear anybody else who could even pretend to handle the ball for a second out of those
Dude,
players you
that's a good
mentioned.
point. I mean, Abdur, you can dump it down, but it's like,
Like,
yeah, you don't have any guy who can initiate
because
offense.
you said Travis Outlaw, like Richie Fram,
Yeah, their starting
Sharif.
lineup was Sharif, Ruben Patterson, who's not like some
No,
crazy off ball or like on ball, like he can
no,
dribble around. Joel Prisbilla obviously ain't doing shit with the ball, and Travis Outlaw, who is more of a slasher and dunker, if
yeah,
anything. So I don't know. I just
that's
thought that was crazy, dude.
crazy. That
To
is.
shoot, I don't know. That's just like those are fascinating games to me. Like I
Well, yeah,
really
now
wish I
it's
could
like
watch that.
there should be like some little blurb in some book written about like maybe just that that should get a mention somewhere. That's crazy. Nice find, dude.
Yeah, so I wish I knew who. I'm guessing this guy's a redshirt.
You're the Joe Costa new
If it's not
of
in the archives, it
obscure.
doesn't exist.
Yeah, dude.
Um,
Oh my gosh.
Also, I did want to bring up one more thing I saw that you might have been tracking. Sorry, I've been looking down my phone a lot, but I should have had this written down. Do you know what Jokic's PER is this season?
I'd guess 30 plus. I'd guess
33.94, two higher than the next highest of all time.
yeah. He's that
Last or in 1920, Giannis had the highest PER with 31.86. I know PER isn't perfect. We've talked about it a million times, but
really bad.
Jokic is 33.94.
Yeah, that sorry, it was cutting out a little bit there. So sorry if I wasn't like directly reacting to what you were saying. But the fact that like and I know any conversation about the MVP at this point in the season is ludicrous, it's asinine, it's
And it
pointless.
fucking sure shouldn't be Steph, dude. I don't care if he
But
can shoot 40%, dog.
and I don't want to just plagiarize, but what is it? Tim Bontemps on the Zach Lowe podcast does like a tickler a third of the way through the season where he polls like 100 likely voters and like MVP voters, and Steph got 94 votes. And
Of course he did.
these people are blind and they're
Everybody
stupid.
wants to jack off Steph, dude.
Not to say Steph isn't having a great year, but to me, this is almost like a carbon copy of last year, where it felt like there was three or four like legit candidate. To me, it feels like it should be an even spread. I don't know how you make a case for Steph Curry being like head and shoulders above KD, head and shoulders above Jokic, in my opinion. But that's, I mean, those guys are having incredible seasons, like
Yeah.
all-time great, like GOAT level seasons. And like Steph's having a great season, but I think it just goes to the media bias and the narrative stuff. It's like I'm trying to analyze the MVP by like the criteria of basketball, and I just totally discount the narrative. But really, the narrative is 50% of what the criteria is on this. So it's like, I don't know, man. It's just frustrating. And like the other people have talked about it, but it's like the group think around these award ballots anymore, where they want to attach the MVP headline to one player early in the season because it drives ratings and it drives interest. And what it does is it cheapens the award and it just lessens it over time if it just becomes narrative driven. It's like it'd be like comparing like the royal family to an actual legislative body. Like They don't do the same thing. What, like, to me, and maybe it's just a gripe because I'm biased against Steph, but like MVP award's not going to mean a whole lot to me, as that balance between actual performance and narrative shifts. It's just not going to mean a whole lot. Like, and that's why people like me end up going to advanced stats to be like, well, awards didn't always tell the story, because they obviously don't. Like, look at all-star selections and look at like all defense selections. It's half the people that have these votes are, they watch their local markets and they have their local bias,
Jabrons.
and that's, yeah, it's
Say
a travesty.
motherfuckers calling Zion 330 pounds and
Yeah,
pictures of him.
and that's a long-winded way of saying Jokic is, I mean, unreal, dude.
Yeah.
He's
and like even more than just like looking at advanced stats, like I know Steph's great, blah blah blah. You know, he had at the end of the day, he had like his games are what 6 for 15 from 3, and he scores 26 points, and like everybody thinks he's the greatest thing on earth. But it's like I watched the Nuggets Pelicans game last week, and it went into overtime, and Jokic literally went 1-on-5 in overtime and beat the Pelicans. And I know the Pelicans aren't a great team, but they, you know,
nobody should be able to do that.
To watch Jokic, they were running the same play every time, dude. And it was like Jokic just can't be stopped.
He sees the game at such an advanced level, and he's so skilled.
He's
that
so
combination,
good, dude.
And he's so like, big, which is also very helpful in basketball.
Yeah,
people forget that.
And like after the game, like the media, the reporters were asking Willie Green, like, why weren't you doubling Jokic? And he's like, well, you know, we took the approach, we're going to make Jokic beat us. And it's like, well, that's what fucking happened. He literally, and Valanciunas is no slouch. Like Valanciunas, like, okay, maybe he's not the greatest fan in the world. He's physical.
Probably one of the few guys who has the physical tools to give Jokic a hard time.
Yeah, he's physical, and he's going to come at your ass. And it was just hard watching him get abused by somebody like Jokic, because I'm like, I was watching Valanciunas, and I could not be happier with the effort he was giving, and how he was putting himself in the right spots. But Jokic is just better than.
And if we're being honest, like, how many guys in the league would you take over JV in a matchup? Honestly, like, I don't know. A few guys match up, you know, better with Jokic than him. And like you said, he's not a switchable guy who can go out and harass perimeter guys. He can't stay in front of guys super well. Maybe he's not the best help weak side guy, but like when it comes to just banging in the paint, JV is world class. I mean, on both sides.
And it's interesting to me too. Like, I'd love to like have more thorough information on this, but it's like I feel like I've watched my fair share of Nuggets games over the year on TV, and it's like it just feels like Jokic always is so clutch. It feels like he always
makes the right play,
shot.
Always hits the shot.
And it's crazy. He doesn't just hit shots. He hits the toughest fucking shots.
Yeah, they're nasty.
Like, so contested. He's like doing his like release from way back here, and it's like shot clock expiring. And it's like I'm just like,
the amount of times I've seen him hit like some crazy bullshit turnaround fadeaway 19-footer with like
as a shot clock
45 seconds left. Yeah, it's just like, wow, the whole game hinged on this. They had to get this bucket to even have a chance. Yeah. He always puts it down. Always. Unreal.
I don't know how true it is, but he feels like Dame Lillard to me, where it's like it's like I would have to look at the clutch stats. I don't know off the top of my head, but like just from watching games, Damian Lillard and Jokic are the two players in the league, like obviously with LeBron in there too, that I just am like, I would literally put my life, if I had to like put my life on the line, it'd be with a guy like Jokic or Dame.
Yeah. I feel like Jokic is getting to the point where it's almost like, you know, you and I, and again, obviously the LeBron bias is there, but we were the type of people that would make the argument every year that he was the MVP because he raised the floor of his team the most. And I think Jokic is getting into that territory of just the stuff he can do and allow his team to do as an individual. Nobody else in the league can do that. Cause like, I mean, now that he's, I'd say at least a league average, if not a plus defender, and you know, his scoring output, like you said, he's a dynamite clutch scorer. He's a guy he can get you a bucket. Like on top of everything else he does, he can do that too. He can be a go-to crunch time, half court, slow down pace, bucket getter, which is like in the last 5 years, that feels like the most important skill set a player can have, and he has it in spades. I don't know, man. He's unreal, dude.
It almost kind of feels like LeBron in a way where it's like, the thing everybody sucks Jokic's dick over is his passing. And rightfully so. Like, he passes like nobody I've ever seen. Like, not saying he's a better passer than LeBron or Magic or whoever you want to call it, John Stockton, Chris Paul, but it's like he passes like nobody I've ever seen, like the passes he makes.
Yeah, he's in that tier 1 of all-time passers. There's no.
And so everybody sucks his dick about it, but like he is, like you said, a absolute like one-stop shop scoring. You can't do anything with him ever.
Yeah.
And it's like the reason I relate that to LeBron, it's like you and I talk about all the time. Like, for my money, LeBron's the greatest passer ever. And he's gonna go down as the all-time leading scorer. And so like this secondary skill of his, Jokic is one of his secondary skills is like just go for your throat killer in crunch time, 20 points a game, shoot threes, get to the line, dominate in the post. Yeah, I just
he's very quickly starting to have 0 holes in his game, and he's
for real.
Not only that, but the things he was even average at before are starting to like, sorry. Also, I'm on borrowed time on this chair, dude. I busted a wheel the other day. I raged at Halo and I pushed my chair in too aggressively and I busted a wheel. So I'm like, if I shift my weight too much, I could fall out of this chair.
Podcast gold.
Shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up.
But yeah. Anyways, I guess we've kind of been all over the place. Where do you want to go?
We're
next?
just freestyling. We're freestyling.
Play jazz. I guess. Well, yeah.
Take it away.
No, you've been leading it so well, dude. I think I've said 7 words. Where do we go next, Captain?
I've been sidetracking us, dude. I'm relinquishing my captain.
Okay,
to
well,
you, Captain.
I'll say there's a deadline coming up. I think it's December. We're recording on December 13th. I think December 15th, a big batch of players become trade eligible. Not to mention there's been a lot of trade talk starting to heat up kind of all over the league. So I guess we wanted to tack on a little bit, call it like a trade primer, just trying to see where these teams are at and what they might do as kind of their options open up. Now that some of these players don't have those trade restrictions. So
what you got, big dog?
The way I'm going to do it, I'm going to guide it. And then I want to hear your opinions on these things. So I just wanted to go down the standings because I think that's always the best way to do it. The Nets, it's pretty obvious. I don't think there's a whole lot they can do. Most likely they're going to trade Kyrie for freaking Ben Simmons, dude.
That's a thing, dude. They can trade.
No,
Kyrie.
they have a lot of options. They have a lot of options. So that's why I kind of broke it down with what I think they should do versus what I think they will do. I don't see a huge Kyrie blockbuster for them, especially, and not even with the reporting. I don't know if you saw that little headline today, but
Kyrie's coming back.
So they're optimistic, which means basically jack shit when it comes to Kyrie. I'll believe it when I see it. So
I saw some people commenting like, yeah, the only reason they're saying this because the Nets are about to let him play part-time because they're sucking so much dick. I'm just kidding.
All right.
Well, no, they're just like the Nets will cave when they need him.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, they don't need him now because KD's a beast. And like,
if James Harden keeps looking like dog shit, though, they're gonna be like, Kyrie, you can play.
Yeah, you can do the road games. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, one of the things that unfortunately is going to get lost to time, I think, with Kyrie is how incredible he was last year. One of the greatest shooting guards. Dude, he's incredible. Anyways,
no, I just want to say this because like I have to say it every time Kyrie's brought up. Is like, I just wish, like, it's what everybody says. This isn't original thought. It's like, I just wish that he could get out of his own way sometimes. Not sitting, like, I am all for Kyrie. I'm all for Kyrie being who he is and like embracing the things that he embraces. Like, obviously, I'd rather he get vaccinated because I think that's a smart decision. But like him, like doing, like being him, being like kind of out there. Like, I love that about him. But like,
I wish we lived in a universe where he could do that and still play basketball and give that.
Yeah, that's the bummer. Is like,
we don't live in that universe, which sucks because he's
like. I value him as like more than a basketball player. And I think that's one of the things he tries to have people do is like, I'm not just a basketball player. I have all these things that I'm like about myself that are unique. And I love and appreciate him for that. Obviously, again, some things I feel like aren't the best for like society as a whole, but I love him, and it's just so hard to watch these years where he could be like literally putting together like a 4 or 5 year stretch of absolutely transcendent basketball, like the likes of which we've never seen with his skill set and how he plays. And like
Mhm.
he's throwing away large chunks of those games because of his stances on certain things.
Well,
And
yeah,
it's
I
just
mean,
so hard, dude.
at a certain point, it's like you have to be selfish as a fan. You're like, I love the game of basketball, and he plays the game. Honestly, if you're talking stylistically, top 5 all time for me, I
Oh,
don't know if there's
yeah.
anybody, and he might be closer to 1 than he is to 5. The way he plays basketball, it's unlike anybody I've ever seen. It's like it's everything you hear about. It's it's poetry in motion. He
Well, that
does things that shouldn't be possible, and he makes it look like
well, I
just
think
rolled
you and
out
I
of
have,
bed and did it.
yeah, and I think you and I have talked about it like before off the podcast, but it's like, people get this hard on for like, I root for Steph Curry because he doesn't look like your average basketball.
Hmm.
He's skinny and he's
Hmm.
shorter. And it's like, it makes me think I could do it. It's like, that's first of all, it's a dumb It's like,
Hmm.
that's dumb to
Yeah.
hold something against Giannis because he's a freak.
Yeah.
But Kyrie, I think you and I have talked about just like his stature, and he's not the most athletic, but his love and skill is like undeniably brilliant.
Hmm.
And it's so hard to like not say he's like my favorite, like other than LeBron. He's like, it goes back to things like he's probably my favorite player to watch mixtapes of other than LeBron.
Yeah.
Like watching him and the things he does absolutely leaves my jaw on the floor. And it's just hard to like watch somebody be so selfish at times that you were like, I fucking love this dude.
Also, what he does on the court is maybe the highest degree of difficulty that any player does. Like, I don't like maybe not impact wise, like, yeah, Steph chucking threes, doing, at that efficiency level has a better impact on winning basketball. But I don't think there's anything that anybody else does regularly that has a higher, like, it, what he does is so hard and he makes it look so easy. And like you said, he doesn't have the physical tools. Like, he has his own physical tools and he knows how to use those, but he doesn't have the ones we usually see as being like the traditional ones that you find success in basketball at that level. So, no, I mean, like you said, it's so weird being a fan of him as a basketball player, because then there's the whole other subplots with LeBron and stuff where it's like being a huge LeBron fan, it's like a weird relationship with Kyrie, but
He hit the shot, dude. Well, I got a sidebar. I know I've been all over the place, but I want to continue. People always suck Steph's, you know what, because he's like the everyman. He's just like
mhm.
is this phenomenal shooter. Wonder why that never happened like Chris Paul. Like, why is nobody looking at Chris Paul and be like, oh, this motherfucker's 6 foot and he's literally the best player in the game at times? And it's like, why is nobody
uh,
like, oh my god, like he doesn't, he's not dunking on people,
I
he's
think
not
people
doing
never
crazy
let
shit.
go of the Steph Davidson stuff. I think they like because like he was like tiny then.
Yeah,
I think they always, I don't know. Steph has like a weird magnetism, marketability. People just love him. They love the way he plays. They love the way he looks. They love everything he does. Um, I wish I understood it. It's weird
why
to try to put your, but
it's
some
just
people
weird
just
that
have like that magical like, and Magic Johnson, like Michael Jordan, these like just
Michael John.
transcendent, like iconic, like Allen Iverson, Kobe, like he did it in a different way. I think he did. Like if you're talking about who brought more casual fans into the sport, I think there's probably only one person that's higher than him.
Who's Steph?
Probably Well, yeah, probably MJ and then Steph. Like, um, I don't know, man. He really did revolutionize the game. Like, I really hate to
I'm about
give
to
him
stop this
credit.
recording, dude. Shut the fuck up.
All right, man.
No,
You're
I'm
gonna
I'm
you're gonna
not I'm
come to
not
terms. I mean, it is what it is, dude. Like
I'm not asking you to compliment Steph Curry. I'm asking you to say, why the fuck don't people give CP3
I'm
respect?
trying to
That's where I
tell
thought
you,
you were gonna go with it,
there's
dude.
well, no, there's like some weird like ethereal quality that some people have and some people don't have.
I feel like CP3 has he's marketable, dude.
He's marketable, but he whines on court. He's like an all-time whiner on
Yeah, there's a
court.
lot of all-time
He get
whiners that
like
people
he's not
love.
a like Steph always seemed like a fun-loving kid who was just having fun on a basketball court. Chris Paul seemed like a taskmaster, freaking,
Kobe.
like, yeah, well, yeah, and that
People
for
love
Kobe,
Kobe.
it was the Mamba mentality, and that was his like magnetism took it down that route. I don't know if Chris Paul had that same like. I mean, seeing a guy run like a fundamental pick and roll, like operate in the lane, like
Motherfucker
herky
does
jerky, like
highlights.
he does, but it's just like, dude, you're
I'm
trying to make me explain something that has been like proven
just trying to
out.
figure out why you like
Like
Steph more than CP3, dude.
Shut up. Hey, you picked Steph for your fucking alien team. I picked CP3. Don't you fucking forget it, Mr. Number One fan. Anyways,
I needed shooting, dude. I needed shooting.
you're out here
Like
sucking his
CP3,
dick like the rest of them,
CP3 is a
dude.
way better shooter. Let's put that on record.
I mean,
I still haven't seen that motherfucker miss a mid-range jump shot.
true. Him and KG, dude.
Yeah.
So
Anyway, let's get back to where
yeah.
we call this the tangent cast.
So anyways, the Nets, I mean, they could make some splashy moves. I don't really see any of that. I mean, do you think they're going to make the splashy moves?
I mean,
If you know, if
what
you
are
had
they?
to bet on it.
Who are they realistically trading to be splashy? It's one of the big three. They ain't trading KD. They ain't trading Harden. And I don't see Kyrie.
Well, there's like the Kyrie stuff to get him to a market where he could play, but then there's also like they could throw Joe Harris, Claxton, salary filler. I don't know what their pick protections are, and they could. I mean, there's always something like these GMs and these front offices can always find a way, but
I mean, I want your opinion. I just don't see it happening because they're in the same spot as like those classic big three LeBron teams, whether it's Cleveland or Miami. It's like you run the risk of getting rid of literally the minuscule depth that you have just to what.
Well, and they're luckier too because they had birds on some actual role players. Those most LeBron big three teams never really had that.
Yeah, and so like, what do you if you were to have to like give up like Nick Claxton, who's one of their best defenders, and then like Joe Harris, who's if he's playing well, one of their best shooters, it's like you're getting rid of if you get rid of three players that are playing meaningful minutes and get one player.
Here's what I could see. I could see them making what a lot of people would consider to be a lateral move to upgrade the Joe Harris spot, but he's prior to his injury.
I wonder what's out there that could be seen as an upgrade to Joe Harris because like when he's playing right. Yeah, but I mean, I feel like wouldn't you say Joe Harris was a little more stout defensively than Buddy?
Oh yeah, but I mean, like Joe Harris wasn't shooting the ball that well if my memory serves me correctly from the beginning of the season. I think he has a foot injury and he's out. So if they're looking for a short-term flamethrower upgrade, like there's a couple like Terrence Ross. I mean, I don't know if he's going to get dealt or if he's going to be more of a buyout guy.
Can we sidetrack this a little more by saying how the fuck is he still on the Magic?
Yeah. The fact that he was still there after the fire sale where they got rid of Vooch and AG, I was just like, you were just waiting for the other shoe to drop and it just never happened.
Dude, 3 years into T-Raw's career when he was still with the Raptors, if you would have told me at this point in his career he'd only played for 2 teams, I would have said, you are fucking crazy. He seemed like the type of guy that's just going to be like, he's going to go different places. He's going to get traded, sign different contracts.
He seemed like the Lou Williams, Jamal Crawford, where it's like, that's just where I saw him. Like, he's just like a guy who'd bounce around and like be a bench scorer everywhere he goes, but just never like those guys just never stick super long, with a few exceptions.
Yeah. It's just like I don't know. I'd love to know his relationship. Like,
Magic I don't think you have to worry. I don't think you have to worry. I think he's gone. Whether it's
said that for 4 years.
Well, no, I mean, all right. I think he's gone this year.
We have.
I think I've even seen. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys who need exactly what there's a lot of teams that need a guy who is exactly what he is.
Past 4 years too.
Right.
We call us the confrontation.
All right, let's go to the next one because you're not going to entertain like.
I'm telling you what I think.
There's a reason why there's rumors. It's because there's a degree of likeliness that it fucking happens.
Dude, people wanted some dissonance, dude. They got it. Patna.
I'm actually like
agree, Cass.
I believe that this podcast was all an elaborate ploy just to fucking troll me with basketball takes.
What if I said that's a troll, dude? I'm
obviously Terrence Ross. The last 4 years. Here's a point though, but the last 4 years, shut the fuck up.
I'm just providing a counterpoint why he could conceivably not be moved.
Well, I guess it depends on his contract because, like, there's.
Yeah, do you know it off the top of your head?
I guess I would assume the fact that he's been there as long as he has, and it doesn't seem like he would have signed an extension. He's
Yeah, I
got to
don't know.
be either in his last year, or I'd be
That
shocked if he
motherfucker
had
signed a
another one.
7-year deal, guy.
Yeah, I'm
Feels
like,
like he's been there forever.
so I think I don't know. It's probably more likely that he gets moved the longer that contract goes. It's still shocking that he wasn't part of that fire sale, though.
Should we add that? Should we make that a second wager
Hmm.
on
Terrence
this?
Ross. We need to
So
put.
we have
We still need to put something on the other one. Wait, did we
ATL will
say
make it.
a swingman jersey?
No, we didn't, but I'd be down for that.
Yeah, let's do a swingman jersey.
How about this to lower the stakes so we don't have to go buck wild?
Jerseys.
We no, I'm down for a swingman jersey, but if we do this, we'll have two bets going. If I'm right on one of them, you're right on one of them. It's a wash.
Yeah, yeah.
If you're right on both of them, I buy you a swingman. If I'm right on both of them, you buy
One
you a swingman.
swingman.
One swingman.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'm down for that.
So I'm saying
basically a
just for the list-
parlay.
Yeah, yeah. For Kurt,
Yeah, shouts out to C Muscle.
the fucker who doesn't watch this thing.
Oh!
So I'm for the viewers at home. I don't think Terrence Ross will be traded at this year's deadline
Or
and
bought out. Because that's what I'm banking on.
Oh, okay.
I think they might try and let's try and get a first. And then who did that happen to a few years back? There's always somebody at the deadline who they're like, and then it ends up with a buyout and he ends up going to the team, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know if that invalidates or.
No, fuck it. Let's do it. T-Raw, I think T-Raw will be on the Magic.
He won't be on the Magic,
season.
yeah.
I think he'll be on the Magic in the season. Bailey thinks he will not. And I think the Hawks will be in the play-in or out of the playoffs. And Bailey thinks the Hawks will
top
be
6
locked into the top 6. So that is the current wager.
All right. And
good idea on the stakes too. That's a good one.
Do we want to limit the swingman to a player somewhat involved in the bet, or do we just want to open it up to the whole thing?
I'm cool with whatever.
Yeah, we can negotiate that later on.
Yeah, now that the Hawks don't have those dog shit jerseys.
Yeah, seriously.
Speaking of which, dude, it's so cool seeing their city court. It has like the big hawk, like the fucking Tumbo hawk. I love that shit, dude.
Yeah.
It's so nostalgic.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Now that they got rid of that highlighter yellow, dude, they've been doing some
highlight
nice stuff with their
looking nice, dude. Looking nice. John speaking of which, dude, John Collins is gonna have one of the sickest career mixtapes ever. That
oh my god,
hammers on somebody every god.
And I don't know, he has a way of like the violence, the way he punches it. I'm just like, fuck.
Yeah, that's the perfect.
Hurts my feelings, dude.
He's the classic like Kemp dunker, dude. He's a violent one.
Yeah. Well, I guess I don't know. Do you want to keep moving down standings? Try and get through these quick.
Yeah, or if you want to just pick out the ones you find most relevant.
Okay, so Bucks, Bulls, Heat. Those, I mean, I would be kind of shocked if they did splashy things. I mean, there's going to be some buyout stuff. Maybe I could see the Heat looking for finding a player just because they've lost some depth with speaking of Jokic, I think his season's incredible. That Markieff Morris thing might be a permanent black mark on his record. That seems like a pretty serious injury. I hope Markieff can get healthy because that's kind of scary. I don't know if you've seen any reporting.
No,
he has a neck injury and he's not played since then.
15 games or
20 after he's not going on the road trip, and I think he's going to end up missing 27 in a row, and he's not even traveling with the team. All right, welcome back. We just ran into some little tech issue. If you're seeing this episode, it's been resolved. If not, lost to time.
If not, we quit. You'll never see us again.
Yeah. So we were just picking up the thread with the I guess trade deadline primer. We were running through some of the contenders in the East. Bucks, Bulls, Heat. Didn't see a whole lot there.
I will say, I'd be honestly surprised, but the Bucks are set up to repeat. They're looking good. They got
I think all these teams are either going to make moves around the margin or buyouts if they do anything. The first team that I think might look at making a move, and I have them classified as a pretender as opposed to just they're just a playoff team, the Cavs. I think they need to add a rotation wing. There's a couple players I thought they should look at, Justin Holiday and Eric Gordon. or Terrence Ross. It seems like there might actually be a few wings available out there to get. Um,
That's interesting because I know on the last week I spoke about them being potentially sellers at the deadline just because it's like they're so far ahead of but it's like I'm sure the management there, like Gilbert and that group is like, I'm sure they want to be back in the playoffs without LeBron and kind of get a taste of that. So I don't know. I think I might be wrong on that take.
Well, and what should stop them? Like they're winning games against.
They beat the Heat
teams.
tonight, correct?
Yeah, I mean they're like, everybody was thinking like, oh, Markin and Allen Mobley, that's a weird fit. It's like sustainable and good. Teams haven't figured it out yet. I think the gap they have is that wing. I mean, they just don't have any. Like, it's crazy because they actually need Sexton, but they need Sexton in a different capacity than the center, the focal point of your offense. They need, because like Isaac Okoro is nothing on offense. He provides nothing.
And I will say Chetty Osman, like I feel like shortly after LeBron left, people had such high hopes for him, but he's so inconsistent that it's like
there's times where he looks like a rotation wing, first wing off the bench or even a starter, and then there's other times where he's just nothing. He gives you nothing. So again, and then they're playing this guy that I don't even really. I think it's Lamar Stevens. I think he's hard-nosed, defensive-minded guy. Hasn't shown much on the offensive side. If there's any Cavs fans out there that have a gripe with that, come from my throat.
In the comments.
Yeah, because I just don't know the guy very well. So sorry but I don't know. It seems like that's a logical place that they could improve. Reliable catch and shoot guy. And I think there's a few guys out there that they could get. And I think it'd do a lot of good for them. So they're a feel-good story for sure.
Yes, once again, dude, the Cavs. This is the Cavs cast.
Seriously.
Every week.
I mean, they're call them the darling of the. Could we say that they're the first darling?
Yeah, they deserve to be talked about because everybody talks about the Lakers and the Nets and the Warriors and the Suns and Bucks and stuff. So it's teams like this.
They got young Tim Duncan on that thing, so that's my hot take of the day. Sixers, I think they need to trade Ben Simmons. I just carrying the.
Oh God, yeah.
I'm of the mind like quit dragging this thing out. I think the package I actually like for them is like the Spurs. If you could get them to get off DeJounte Murray, I think you take that and whatever else it takes to get the deal done, and you say that's good enough.
Do you think
I'm very high on DeJounte Murray though? So
yeah, I don't know. Like it's just crazy that the Sixers, as well as they are, and they're missing somebody that's as high caliber as Ben Simmons.
$33 million gap.
Yeah, it's like you could add so many good pieces to make that team better.
And I was, I know they keep saying like, oh, we want the star, but it's like, I don't know, man. Like I was playing around with the trade machine. There's some really cool deals out there that I think make them a legit contender. But I believe in JoJo. I think he's the type of guy who could literally carry a team to a title in a playoff run. I have that. That's his ceiling for me. So like even a package around like McDermott, Derek White, Lonnie Walker.
That'd be hard to see them taking
picks on that one.
Yeah.
I just don't think you're getting enough talent back. But
you see what Maury was saying. He wanted SGA. I'm like, good fucking luck, dog.
Yeah,
not happening. Which who knows with the Thunder though? I'm like, hey, I'll give you SGA for 5 second-round picks because I just want Sam Presti just wants.
Yeah, he just wants to keep that freaking the wheel.
I'm sure if this podcast lasts till draft time, we're gonna get on. We're definitely gonna get on our soapbox about draft picks and second round
draft time is gonna be unlistenable.
It's gonna be a lot of rants.
Yeah, there's a lot of gripes to be had. So, anyways, that's what I guess as far as like what I see the Sixers doing. Morey seems delusional about this thing, so I could legit see them taking this through the season and just like. I mean, if I'm Joel Embiid, I know he loves the city. I know he likes to be the guy, and he likes to be the guy in Philly. But I look at that and I'm like, get this fucking clown GM out of here. I'd be like, that would be first request. If the trade deadline comes and passes and Ben Simmons is still on that team and not playing, if you're JoJo, I say either fire whoever made this decision tomorrow or I'm requesting a trade in the offseason. And that's like, it's criminal what they're doing, in my opinion, but it doesn't get covered that way, which blows my mind.
It's interesting. Yeah, I mean, because having people talk about how bad Elton Brand fucked everything up with some of those contracts and stuff, and it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, how good and reliable Joel is, it's like kind of bailed them out from being
Well,
like
they got the win
underachieving.
now verdict, and they made poor decisions.
Yeah, but
You
they've
know,
done well with like some of the draft picks and
well,
stuff.
yeah,
I
and
feel like
like
they're still maintaining.
finding Seth Curry, like you said, some of their draft picks have been really
Team
good.
Maxey and this man, like,
Yeah, I mean, Bible,
yeah,
um, Paul Reed looks like he'll be.
pork blobs.
Yeah, he's a ways off. Yeah, I mean, finding talent anywhere, but yeah, for them to possibly waste an entire season of prime Joel Embiid, that's
Transcendent.
unacceptable to me.
Yeah, 100%. One
So I guess
hundred.
we'll move down the current standings, and again, this is prior to the results of the games on December 13th. But had the Wizards next. I just don't know what they could do. I think they're going to stand pat, try to be competitive. Um, I don't know if their assets are. I don't know if they'd be buyers or sellers. I just think they're going to try to stay competitive, try to be in the playoffs. I think that's a success for them.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree.
It'd be cool if they could. I know they've had like feel good stories with some of their bigs. Was it 3 years ago? It was Bertans, which he's not a traditional big. 2 years ago was Thomas Bryant. Last year, Daniel Gafford. It's like, well, like obviously that's not enough. Montrez comes in, he changes things. I think it'd be cool if they looked at improving their team, and like Miles Turner's the name that I'd look at for them. But
That'd be
um,
interesting. Fit.
yeah, I mean, I think anyways, that's just the thought. I don't think they'll make any move that splashy though.
Or imagine Sabo on the Wizards. That'd be interesting.
Sabo and Beal in
Sabo and
pick and
Bradley
roll.
Beal, I feel like would be a good like Bradley Beal can move out the ball. I mean, I don't know
Yeah.
how realistic that is. I will say, did we watch Daniel Gafford's when he was on the
Bulls.
Bulls summer league team, and he was dunking everything and swatting shots, and like it seemed like he seemed, well, I mean, he came into the same year as Zion, right?
I
And
think so.
like he was just a highlight machine in summer league.
Hmm.
It felt like, and like it's just cool because I know we both have like fond memories of that way back in the Dizzy
Oh yeah.
of like Travis Outlaw specifically in my mind. But it's cool to see those players that are like highlight factors in the summer league slowly but surely develop and become like, oh, Daniel Gafford's a solid
Yeah,
motherfucker.
yeah. He looks like he projects to be a solid rotation big for at least a
That's
few
cool.
years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just remember watching him be like, this guy's awesome. But I,
Yeah.
I didn't have any expectations at that point.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's where that Wizards team could maybe make the leap to being like legit playoff team, maybe avoid the
Yeah,
play in, but I don't know if they have the pieces to make any deal like that happen. Um Hornets, I think it's a win now big. I wouldn't that's not an original idea. I think everybody pegs them as trying to chase a Miles Turner or something along those lines. So I mean, unless you have any
who do you
other
think they're giving
opinions.
up? You hear the Gordon Hayward stuff. I hear like the Pacers want Gordon. It's like I feel
Well,
like
the
the
Pacers have
Pacers and
lusted
Gordon
after,
Hayward, yeah,
yeah,
are
it needs
circling
to
each other
happen
for years.
someday. I think what's more likely is like a PJ Washington plus
Ouch.
some salary filler and
How would you
picks.
feel about that? I would hate that as a Pacers fan.
Um, I don't know if PJ
Think about how
Washington's
many guys like there are like PJ Washington out there. How many guys there are like
well,
Miles Turner out there.
that's I think if you're gonna get into like a Miles Turner bidding war, I think that's gonna get beat pretty quickly.
I would hope so, dude.
Any like, and I don't know, the Warriors probably shouldn't make a deal. They should probably, at
Rock and
least that's
roll.
my opinion. But
Yeah, you're adding Clay. That's like
any
making a deal.
package the Warriors threw out would trump that Hornets package. Like, I don't know what,
God,
like,
that's like almost disrespectful. Dude. PJ
well,
Washington,
yeah, I
and
mean
it
that's
better be a
the
first round pick or some shit.
and that's the one I always see bandied about is PJ Washington and stuff, and it's just like, I don't know. Maybe I have a different
Wow.
opinion of PJ Washington, but he showed that his ceiling is like half of what Miles Turner is.
Right now, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like I don't know why you would ever.
The best shot blocker in the league who can stretch the floor. Well, occasionally stretch the floor.
Yeah, and he's been shooting the ball really well this year. I mean, Miles Turner's been
Yeah.
playing really good, a little inconsistent, but really good on the aggregate. So the other one I was thinking is like if Miles Turner falls through, like Derek Favors is in no man's land on the Thunder. I don't know. The only reason he would end up on the Thunder at the end of the season if literally nobody wanted him. But I feel like if the Hornets fell through and didn't find a big, maybe they take a flyer on D Favors if he gets bought out or trade
Yeah,
a
it's
bunch
weird to
of
see. It's weird to have Derek Favors there playing minutes. Just like
yeah. Yeah, it's very strange.
The Thunder are just an anomaly.
Yeah, I mean, and this is what they do. They've been doing it.
Rehabilitate, flip it, add some more picks. Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah. Which is we'll see how that strategy bears out for them.
Yeah, look at all the titles I got.
Yeah. Next up, we got the Hawks. I think this is like they're almost Pacers adjacent to me.
They lost tonight. They lost tonight. Yeah. They got a losing record.
Yeah. I mean, they got some work to do. I think the rotation's a little overcrowded. Again, this isn't an original idea, but like I've seen the Cam Reddish rumors. The packages I see them getting in return don't make sense to me. I guess
what are people saying they need?
I've seen like a pick being like the main get. Like, oh, they want
they're
first.
They're just trying to free up space in rotation.
Well, they could be doing that, and then maybe they attach that pick and salary at a later date to upgrade a position. Like, it's the long game, but I'll be interested. I have kind of a question mark next to them, and same with the Wizards because I just don't know what they're going to end up doing. I think the Hawks have enough talent to be really good, but I don't know. The slow start's starting to get like concerning. I'm not gonna lie, and like it's not for it seems like Trae Young's playing pretty well. He's the engine that makes him go. So I need to watch.
Yeah, I can't fault Trae. I don't know. I just feel like
I know Capella's like played bad. The wing play's been inconsistent, but
that's the problem. That was my skepticism with this year. Is like everybody played so well last year, and they achieved so much for like. I think Capella's good, but I don't think he's great. And I like obviously he racks up stats. Like all their wing players, I felt like were overachieving. Gallinari, Bogdanovich, Reddish, Hunter, Herter. And so like I don't know. I mean, I don't know everything, but like it'll be interesting to see how the Hawks play.
Well, it's like I don't know. I wonder if they changed anything with their scheme because like it seemed last year everybody knew their role perfectly. It seemed like they unlocked the key to like maximizing Capella, simplify it enough. He was in rim runner heaven, and he's built to be the the best rim runner. So I don't understand why it's not working, and that's where the research needs to happen. I guess if there's any Hawks fans that have seen more games, I've only seen I think like 2.5 maybe, plus highlights. But
post a comment, you lazy fucks.
Yeah. All our viewers in the ATL, where you at?
ATL shouty.
Yeah. So, but I don't know. That's another team that I don't know. What are your thoughts? What do you think they should do? Should they buy?
Yeah, I mean,
they have to compete now. They were in the Eastern Conference Finals. Can't miss the playoffs after doing that.
I mean, I think they're bound to unless they make a move because like again, like I didn't believe in this roster. And so I think that like, I'm a little bit hesitant to trade Cam Reddish I feel like if I'm the Hawks because he's like seemed to kind of start to hit his stride this year.
Well, yeah, and he's shown some really bright spots.
DeAndre Hunter can't stay on the floor, which is tough.
But that's unfortunate for them because he's, in theory, he should be like maybe their third or fourth best player, their 3-and-D wing.
Yeah. It's just the way I think about it is like Trae Young is a great player, but their second best player is John Collins, I guess. And it's like, maybe you like
that team has a low ceiling if that's the case.
I love John Collins. Like, let's not get it twisted. I think he's cool and I think he's great. But him as a second best player on your team, I don't think that's an Eastern Conference team, Eastern Conference final team. Yeah. I don't know how it happened last year, but that's what happened.
Well, the way it happens is if you get like you said, like above average, like just team play, like all their role players were stepping up with the exception, like I think Lou Williams. I mean, he always.
Well, just think about the caliber of team that makes a conference. Just think about the caliber.
Well, last year was an anomaly too, though.
Yeah, but even in like a year that's an anomaly, it's weird to see like the second best player. John Collins is never going to be an all-star.
Well, he wasn't last year. I don't think he was their second best player last year. That's
Who was
the
Capella?
Problem. I think Capella was. I think Capella had a case for all NBA. Granted, like, I mean, it's impact versus, I don't think he was a foundational. I don't think he was one of the 15 best players in the league, but I think he had a case for like an all NBA center.
Yeah, but that's the thing too, is like, not to shit on Capella because he's really great in his role, but it's like, it's hard to be when your second best player on the team is purely
dependent
a
on.
product of another player on the team. It's same
Mhm.
thing, same story with him in Houston. When
Mhm.
Capella was in Houston, it's like, or like Tyson Chandler in New Orleans, like way back into Dizzy. It's just hard when like your second best player is so dependent on your first best player, and it's like
Mhm.
it's hard to view that second best player as a true second best player, a true second fiddle when it's like I
Yeah.
would like to see what Capella would produce in a year without Trae Young with a
Oh
league average
yeah.
point guard
Well, and yeah, I guess
or a distributor.
that's why I'm still just confused because it seemed like if there's one play that's dependable in the league, it would be like a Trae Young, Clint Capella pick and
Oh
roll.
God,
Like,
yeah. I mean,
I
I
mean,
remember
you have
the
the best
Harden.
you have the best pick and roll lob thrower and you have the best pick and roll lob threat. And for whatever reason this year, it seems like it's on Capella. He just hasn't, I don't know what's going on. But again, I'd be interested to know more because that one's very disappointing to me. I hope they make a move, or I hope they, right the ship, recapture what
It's
they
just
have.
weird. I wonder. Yeah, I wonder if they kind of take the approach of like trying to package a few of their players and try and
Yeah.
get a more substantial piece, or what they would do. It's just kind of hard to picture what it's going to look like for them
Well, and at this
without having to
point,
give up a guy like Herder or something.
and for me, it's like if Hunter and Bogdanovich are healthy, and then you have like Reddish and Herder, also in your wing rotation, that is a very good wing rotation. But it's just like it just seems like Hunter's always got some
He's always got
injury,
something going on. Yeah.
and like substantial ones where it's like,
Yeah. He's out for weeks.
and then it seems like Bogdanovich always has something lingering. It's like,
yeah.
Gallo, I don't think you want him to be like a primary perimeter scoring threat anymore.
Okay.
He's more of a 4, if not a 5. I mean, it's just like
he literally looks broken down. He's out
yeah,
there.
I just feel like they need a more consistent presence. Like I think if you look at this team and DeAndre Hunter's healthy and continuing to progress, and Capella's, plays himself into or out of a funk. I don't know. I still believe in this team, but yeah, I don't know. Let's just keep moving down the standings. I'll try to make it quick.
Talk about Boston.
Yeah, that's next.
Okay. Here are the rumors about them shopping Schroeder.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense. Like team's not doing what it needed to do. They got an impressive win tonight. Tatum had a huge game.
How long do you think it takes before Boston's like, this ain't working? How many more years?
I mean, there's already rumblings. Like people are, I don't know. Some of the reporting that's come out about Jason Tatum, it seems
they wouldn't
like
trade Tatum.
No. It seems like everything has indicated that Jaylen Brown would be the one that gets moved, and I don't know if that's the right move personally.
I wonder.
I've always
if
been
Boston fans are more of a Jaylen Brown. They're like, okay, Jason Tatum might be a little bit better with Jaylen Brown.
I've been fighting proxy wars as a Jaylen Brown fan against Celtics fans, and it seems like a pretty clear consensus that Tatum's playmaking ability, and his, I guess, more versatile scoring repertoire, people think more highly of him.
But that's the thing. I was like,
I think Jaylen Brown's the best perimeter defender in the league, though. So I'm going to value that.
That's the thing. I was like, at the end of the day, somebody might be a better player, but they might not be the best leader and teammate and like person to be the alpha on the team. It's like Jason Tatum might be great. I agree. But like, I could see a Jaylen Brown team, like if they had somebody of Jaylen Brown's ilk alongside him, like I could see them accomplishing just as much, if not more, than what they're accomplishing right now with Jason Tatum.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be honestly like if we were to just say over the next 4 years, like teams you're not most excited for, but just like you just really want to know how it shakes out. Like, what does the Celtics team look like 4 years from now? I mean, they'd be towards top third of the league, if not top 5 teams for me, because that fascinates me. I mean, that's been the question, and it's so stupid too, because it's like I feel parallels because it's like the Sabonis Turner thing. Pacers fandom's been hearing similar questions, but the Pacers ones actually make sense because modern style of basketball says you shouldn't have two bigs on the court at the same time, with a few exceptions. But like the other thing the NBA says is get every 3-and-D wing you have and put them all on the court at once. And they have 2 of the best young 3-and-D wings. So it's like, the fact, like
let's give him a little more credit. Let's give him a little more credit for 3-and-D.
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, but
but
like
have those in the tool bag, I think.
yeah.
But they're not
Like
exclusive.
you have to have those players on the court,
Yeah.
ones that can defend and ones that can stretch the floor. You have to have
Yeah.
those players. So the fact that they have two of those, they can afford them. They seem to get along fine. But the fact that it's not working for basketball reasons is what concerns me. Like either it's two options. Like either I don't know how to phrase it, but like I don't know, man. I think there's a lot of stuff that goes on in the Celtics organization that is just kept so tight-lipped. I mean, there's just been too many weird things over the years with some of these players, like, you know, Kyrie Irving's view of the organization, like stomping on the logo, but still like loving the players. Kyrie being black or not blackballed, but like treated as a black sheep by the organization and treated poorly. And then the players love Kyrie, like the Kemba stuff, the losing Gordon Hayward for nothing, like the Horford stuff. It's just like the Celtics franchise, like they were so set up and they were counting.
Good thing they got all those picks, dude.
Yeah, that war chest, that fabled war chest.
One Eastern Conference Final appearance.
Yeah, and I mean they've squandered a lot of it and they've lost a lot of assets.
Well, yeah, it feels like they've stayed the same every year, but everybody else gets better.
Yeah. It's I don't know, man. It's for such a storied franchise to be set up so well and just fall totally flat. And now
you love to see it.
Well, yeah, and we're not the first people to have the Tatum, Jaylen Brown conversation. So that'll be fascinating to see how that plays out. I think they need to move Schroeder, and I think Thad Young would be a good ad for them. Those are my other notes on them. But I don't know. Was there anything else you want to add on the Celtics?
Well, I want to shout out to Thad Young. I think veterans who go to San Antonio for whatever reason, well, take that back because they're always in contention, but recently they haven't been in contention. I wonder if players like a player like Thad Young goes to San Antonio just to, I want to play for Pop. Like, I'm not going to win anything, obviously, coming here. I am playing, I don't want to say meaningless basketball, but like, you know, this is clearly a rebuild or quasi rebuild. I wonder if he just wanted to play for Pop.
Yeah.
Because did he sign or I believe he signed, right?
Well, would he have been part of the DeRozan? I don't know. Signing trade.
Yeah, I have to look into it. But I mean, that's a broader question. It's like, I wonder if like if you were like if you personally, Bailey Lillard was an NBA basketball player and like Thaddeus Young doesn't have a title.
Yeah, how much does the coach?
I want to play for Pop. I just
how
want
much
to know
does the coach factor in? I mean, I'm sure it varies from player to player, but the ones that do value it, I think there's. I don't know. I like when that's the case. I like when a player's like, "Hey, I want to play for this coach." I don't know. I don't know. Like it's in like the weird like emotional aspect of basketball where you just like some things you just root for, even though it doesn't fully like. I don't know. We probably make too much out of those storylines, but whatever. Part of the fun.
Maybe.
So I guess now we're out of the play-in. We got the Raptors, Knicks, and Pacers, and this is where it gets a little weird. I don't know what the Raptors should do.
Who knows, man?
They have such interesting roster. I'm just like, and they win games. They look like they want to compete for the play-in, but I don't know. That one just made me throw my hands up. I was like, I have no clue what this team wants.
Yeah,
like,
and they
move off Siakam. Like, is that even going to change? Like, that's not even going to change where they end up in the standings. I really don't think.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know because they obviously have a lot of young players that people like and like would love to have. It's just so hard to picture because it goes back to how we were talking about them. You know, we both had them low in our season preview, and then they got off to a decent start. And we were both like, it's just a team you can't question. They're like the modern version of the Spurs, and it's like to that point, to your point, it's like who really fucking knows? As long as they have like Van Vliet, I don't think it really matters who's around. Like I think that they're gonna be in that same band of like 30 to 42 wins, no matter who's on the floor.
And like how competitive the league is right now, it's like if you're trying to tank, you've already lost at this point in the season. So, and the way they flattened the lottery odds, it's like why not stay a little bit competitive? Like, okay, maybe you could have dropped down to the 9th pick, but maybe you end up with the 11th. You know, something like that.
Yeah.
And like they have a decent, like good enough draft history that like they could usually pick 2 spots behind a team and still outdraft that team. Like there's certain teams that just execute that stuff well.
Right.
So I don't think there's a ton of incentive really for them to tank or to fire sale. Like just let
the young guys grow still.
Yeah, and like, if they sign Fred VanVleet to an extension, so like, he's the Sherpa for those young guys to the next generation, and he's going to be an effective player. He seems like he has everything in him to be Kyle Lowry 2.0.
Right.
Is his ceiling is high?
Good comp.
I don't know, probably not, but
Good comp though.
and he's a great culture setter. Seems like a good leader. So I think they stand pat, and just try and add stuff through the draft.
I know every team would love a guy like VanVleet, but it's like, God, imagine if the Pelicans had VanVleet.
Oh, just
He
an
would be like a
actual
perfect player.
alpha guard who can, like, I don't know, because I feel like that's what the Pelicans, they need better guard play.
Yeah, and who can shoot and also demands success. That's something people have been saying. It's not an original thought, but like that, you always hear the stories about when Chuck came in the league that Moses was like, you fat fuck, you're going to lose weight or you're not going to play, and that's how it's going to be. And like they were like, Zion needs somebody like that who he can respect and listen to on Pelicans. But you know how Pelicans have no accountability. They haven't had any for a long time.
Yeah,
so.
and none of their players jump out to me as being like
absolutely
that guy.
not. They don't have any guys
the
like
culture setter.
Yeah, they need that's been the problem for years, dude. They don't have a culture. They've never established like a Heat. I know we brag on the Heat culture, but like a culture where people hold each other accountable.
Well, yeah, and the players come in with a certain expectation too. But now it's just like everything's just like, I don't know. Yeah, we don't need to belabor the point.
About the Pelicans. I've talked about that a lot today.
But yeah, I guess we'll move on down to the Knicks. I think they need to say, hey, what's it take to get Lillard? That's what I believe.
Oof.
And I think the Blazers
I
think the Blazers need to listen to that conversation.
What do you think the Knicks could offer that would entice them to give up Damian Lillard?
I mean, I feel like the Blazers say, hey, RJ Barrett, that's the starting point. And then the Knicks say no. I think they say RJ Barrett quickly. No. I shouldn't say that. I think he's the center piece, but I think they're going to ask like the King's ransom thing, the Anthony Davis, the supposed James Harden, hey, I want a young good piece, and I want all the picks.
RJ, I want quickly, I want picks.
Yeah. I think they're going to ask for something like that, whatever salary filler it takes. And I really think the Blazers need to listen to that conversation. I think it's time. I know that sucks to say, but it's like there's no extension, right, in place. Is he an unrestricted free agent going in? And he's not played super well this year. Yeah. There's been enough drama surrounding that. I think to give if they want to give whatever new regime, coaching, front office a real chance, and they say, hey, we've gone as far as Damian Lillard can take us, I don't know. I think now's the time, but
man, it's just so crazy to think about Lillard, like Portland saying, you know what, we got to move on from you, because it's like, to me, Damian Lillard is the type of player. It's like you just suck if suck.
To me, it's like
you're going to be
Kobe.
good or bad. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
You keep paying him. You keep giving him shots. He's the greatest Portland Trailblazer to ever live.
Yeah.
That's how the story ends. Yeah.
Suck it
but
up.
I don't know if we live in that era anymore. I don't know if that's stuff.
Yeah, that's true. It's just hard to picture like them having that ownership and like management being like, you know what, thanks, Dane, for all your work.
Let me freaking hit you with this. The flip side of that. What if Lillard ends up on the Knicks? He goes on a historic run, brings them back to the 7 seed. They get into the playoffs, and Lillard's going bananas. I mean, that's like a story made for a New York Knicks.
Yeah. What do you want me to suck? I'll suck it, dude. Just tell me.
All right.
That happened.
Say what?
If that happened, just tell me what to suck.
I'm just saying, dude, like it's not all sad, it would be bittersweet, but I mean, Lillard's always going to have a special place in Portland. There's like, unless something truly crazy happened, like he'll be loved there forever. His jersey's going to be in the rafters. So, I don't know. That's the trade I want to see. I guess that's the big move I want to see. I think that's best for both parties.
And I'm happy to say, dude, the Knicks, I don't. They are who we thought they were. Yeah, we called it. We called the Knicks.
Yeah,
dude. We called the Knicks.
They
I mean,
scared
there's a
me
lot of
though.
season
They
left.
scared me.
There's a lot of season left, but it's like, I don't know. It just didn't feel real last year, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, it sucks because like I wanted to be wrong. I
No, and I
did.
love, yeah, the Knicks.
I
I love
wanted to
that
be wrong
franchise.
about that.
Yeah,
So bittersweet.
but we're just too smart, so can't help it.
Sorry. Let's go to the Pacers. Lot of hullabaloo around them. Seems like they're gonna move off Levert, especially after tonight. My lord,
Oh, calm down.
that was rough. No, I'm just saying the Pacers fandom they're so out on Levert, which
I
sucks.
hate that.
I really like Karis Levert, and
I love him.
yeah, it sucks. Like I want it to work with Levert, Brogdon, Sabonis, and Turner. I don't think it is. And TJ Warren, who I don't even mention because he's just doesn't
We'll never
play.
play again.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like that's a foregone conclusion as well. But
Do you have what's the latest on it? Do you know? What's the last they said?
the last I saw was like, oh, the most recent batch of scans were negative, and it's set back his recovery, and now his timetable's indefinite. They're
Him and
optimistic. Yeah, I mean, they're optimistic that he'll play this season, but does that mean like back in 2 weeks and hey, let's give this thing a run, or does that mean back in 2 months and he got 15 games in on a minutes restriction and now he's an unrestricted free agent and bye-bye?
Well, I mean, I can almost see like the Pacers kind of have a good position of power then in that case because it's like he's not going to have a huge market. I wouldn't feel like coming off an injury and being so unproductive for 2 years.
Yeah,
and it's like you'd almost think the Pacers have a little bit of a leg up to maintain him for a decent. But I will say, anyway, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say he's exactly what they need. He's a crunch time scorer. He can get his own bucket. He's a wing stopper. He's literally the hole that they have. And
Shea Brissett, dude.
He's become their sixth man since he was getting early season, got some minutes early, had big games.
I love
immediately
him so
fell
much.
out of the
We were talking
rotation.
about him last year, dude.
Now he's the sixth man again, and he's
stud,
literally
dude.
the only energy they have on the court.
I know, dude. There was one play late in tonight's game where Steph like tried to save the ball inbounds, and it was like looked like it was going to go to a Warrior, but he just had like a nose for the ball. He like stepped right in front, picked it off, and Pacers had the ball. I just like watching him play.
He's like, I don't know, Pacers.
He'd be my favorite player if I was a Pacers fan.
Yeah, maybe I mean he's the player that like I'm always happy to see him on the court because he just seems like he cares, and that's always the issue with this team. It's like I wish guys would like. No offense to Miles Turner, but like, and no offense to any of these guys, but like, can we shut the fuck up about touches? Can we stop? Like, this team is it, and somebody said it on a podcast. A million people have thought this because it's obvious. There's like 15 guys who think they're the guy on this team. Nobody wants to just fill a role. And like, I understand like Miles Turner's made a ton of sacrifices. He wants more shots. He has every right to ask for that. But it's just like, I feel like it's been a toxic place for 3 years, 2.5 years. And it's just like, I'm just sick of it, dude. I just like, it's cool to see them go on this win streak. And it's cool to see like they always do this, dude. You'll see them and you'll be like, oh, this team could do it. They have all the talent, they have the depth, they have the and then I don't know, man, it just never comes together. So sorry to, I mean, it only we already had this conversation. Sorry to re-summarize it, but this team's so frustrating. So I think they're
frustrating.
I hope if they make a splashy move, and I know this is gonna be sacrilege on this podcast. My first option would be I hope they get Sexton because they're really good at finding undervalued young players. Then they sign them to affordable extensions. Then those players end up.
You think Sexton and Brogdon would work well together? That feels like Levert and Brogdon all over
again. Only problem is I believe in Sexton as a shooter. Karis Levert is.
Got you.
His shooting is so inconsistent. It's so frustrating. And his defensive effort, when he's on, he looks like a freaking wing stopper extraordinaire. And then it's like the other 75% of the time he's just a ghost.
Yeah.
Which is frustrating. So, but
it's frustrating.
But yeah, Sexton, and then the Warriors have a really good collection of assets that they could offer any team. I don't want the Warriors to get better at the Pacers' expense, but if I'm
it's hard too, because like Sorry.
I was just gonna say, if I'm looking out for the best for the franchise that I root for, it's hard to not look at a Warriors pack and say, "Dang."
Still though, like I mean, are you trying to like? That's the one thing I have is like you and I have talked about this before in the past, where it's like the Pacers have so many good quarters. It's like they need
Mhm.
$1, and it's
Mhm.
like, are they going to trade? It feels like what Presti does, but with players instead of picks. It's like, oh, we got this good
Yeah,
player. Let's get some lesser players, but more of them.
I could see that, but I could also see like some addition by subtraction, just because I think role clarity is such an
Yeah,
issue with the
that's fair.
team,
That's fair.
where it's
You would
like,
think Carlisle would be a master of that too. Like, hey, fucks, this is what we're
yeah,
doing.
and that's the thing is like nobody can. Doesn't matter what coach, what GM, what players, what vets, nobody can rein in these fucking the leaders of this locker room. Nobody can do it. It's always negative, dude. The body, everything, dude. Ugh,
Yeah.
I'm sick of it. I don't want to talk about it. It makes me want to puke. Let's go
Well,
on to
let's
the
talk.
Magic.
Wait, speaking of puke, dude, I vote Jeremy Lamb for the worst tats in the league. I just hate his the spots he has, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
get some more. You look
Yeah.
deathly.
Yeah, don't put the tats in the negative space, you freak.
Yeah, he's like putting them like he has like some right here. He has like one on his neck. He's got like a
Yeah.
whole leg sleeve. I'm just like,
Very strange. Yeah, not yeah. Also, I don't like how he's been playing, so ship him out.
but yeah, Jeremy.
Yeah, get out of here.
Get out
No,
of here,
just kidding. I
pal.
like Jeremy Lamb, but been a bad fit this year. Let's just sorry, we are going into
Going
overtime here. This
long.
is
Well, just
triple
let's take it to the
OT.
west. Take it
Okay,
to the west.
okay, yeah, Magic Pistons. All they need to do develop players, buy out vets, trade vets for
We'll see
whatever
about
assets
T
you can
Raw.
get.
T Raw will be
Yeah.
his.
The one
What we
thing is
see.
like it'd be cool if the Pistons moved off Jeremy Grant. That's something splashy that could happen. Also the Magic, Terrence Ross. I feel like a lot of teams need exactly what he is. So keep an eye out for that one. Let's go into the West. Suns. I think they're gonna be looking for a buyout target. I think they need
It's
more.
hard. Let's hold on. Hold on. I want to talk Jeremy Grant. Like I just started hearing about like that'd be crazy.
I mean, he signed the deal there, but it's just like, and he, through his agent, through what he said, I believe him. He wanted to be there, but like, best interest of the team isn't to have Jeremy Grant at this point.
It's
Like
just
they are
yeah,
full
I
rebuild.
guess so.
Um,
That's true. Sorry, go ahead. Go on. Let's talk about Suns.
well, no, I mean it. I mean it is. It's one of the biggest names to be mentioned. He could.
Yeah.
A player of his caliber could really change the championship landscape.
Yeah, for
Depending
sure.
on where he ends up. Suns, they're probably pretty locked with what they can do from like a trade standpoint. So I think they'd target a
I
buyout.
wasn't seeing them doing too much anyway.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, they probably need to add a little bit of big man depth just because I think Saric is out. I don't know what his timetable is. I don't know.
I would say the whole year, right? I would guess.
Yeah, because he got injured late in the playoffs, right? With
Finals, right? ACL.
torn ACL. I don't
When's
know.
Kaminsky coming back? When's Kaminsky?
I'm not sure on that one either. But I think they could use a Thaddeus Young, Kenrich Williams, maybe not Kenrich Williams, just because I think you would need a guy who could slot up and play that Saric role of like more of a flex big if they wanted to play. So it would just, I mean, at this point, it's like an embarrassment of riches for them. Like,
Yeah.
if they can find like the flexible 3-and-D-5 who can, it's just like, okay, shut the fuck
They'll be
up.
all right.
Like,
yeah, they'll be all right.
you guys got all you need. So I had a similar thing for the Warriors. They could do something splashy. I don't think they should. I think
Yeah, they could do.
keep
Heard
it
the Sabo
stable.
stuff, but it's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
you're
think
adding
they-
Clay Thompson.
Yeah, keep it stable and try and reintegrate Clay in the best way possible with a solid structure around him. So
Although, I mean, it'd be yeah, with Wise, it'll be interesting to see what Wise looks like when he comes back too. Because like that's where I do see like obviously Draymond fills like that role as a big man a little bit, but he's undersized, and so like it'd be interesting to see what if they added like a legit 7-foot guy who could play like Sabonis or
who could like
um,
actually be like Kevon Looney's like a great stopgap, great role player, but like a starting center. See what that looks like.
yeah, and it'd be weird to see, it'd be crazy to see Sabonis passing to Clay Thompson and stuff too. Like I feel like there's a lot of potential.
Oh
there,
my
I hope it
god,
doesn't
him
happen, so I
making
don't want the Warriors
passes out of
getting
like the
stronger.
short roll with them is game over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to see that happen.
Yeah.
I don't want to live on that timeline. Sabo there would be
Please no
world beater.
Please.
I guess we'll just keep moving down. Jazz, I think they're pretty set with what they can do.
Jazz never do anything.
Yeah, I mean, they are going to be this team in a few short months. So.
I will say, I will say that after this year, I feel like if they bow out of the
Mhm.
playoffs again unceremoniously, something will change this offseason. This will
If
be the offseason.
if you go to the Western Conference Finals and you push it to 6 or 7 games, I say anything less than
Keep
that.
it together.
Yeah, anything
Yeah.
less than that, I'm like, okay, you need to look at either, hey, maybe the Bogdanovich Ingles wing rotation is aged out, freshen that up, add a different like element there. But yeah, I think they stand pat, see how far they can go.
Back for the third god time, Wax Chronicles. Both of us
Cursed
fully.
episode.
Yeah, the cursed episode. This just shows how much we care about the great fan base that we built thus far of one person. Jesse, thank you. And
Hey man,
we do this for you, dog. And so
motherfucker's gonna earn another guest appearance next week at this rate, dude.
so anyway, we are back. We left off with the as you will all recall, if you've made it to the 2 hour mark of this video, uh, that
Sorry if you have.
no, this is good shit. We are running through all the NBA teams, talking about potential trade scenarios that we saw or have heard about. And as you have all witnessed at this point, the Zoom quality came off the rails multiple times now.
Oof.
And so
Not ideal.
We had worked our way through the Eastern Conference fully. Now we had been Bailey had been leading us through the Western Conference, and we had left off with the Jazz, and we're now on the Grizzlies as we move through the standings from top to bottom. So
yeah. So
you were used to yesterday. You were the Devil's favorite demon. Now you're corporate Kane, dude. So we're trying to make.
Wait, I gotta take my freaking whoops.
We're making this the most jarring visual experience.
Yeah. Lighting change. It's all fucked up. Outfits.
By the way, today's NBA jersey day. Did you see that? I should have put on a jersey.
Dang crap! No, I didn't see that. Yeah. Let's just dig in with the Grizzlies. Try to get the rest of this segment wrapped up. And
for the love of God, finish this.
Please. The Grizzlies. It's pretty obvious. I mean, I don't think they want to move off any of their young pieces. I could just see them kind of standing pat, keeping the talent that they have, and continue to try to develop some of their young players. Any success that they have this early with this core is just gravy. So icing on the cake.
The earlier they can get playoff experience with this core, it's like the better off they're.
Yeah. So I don't know. They have to be in one of the best positions of any team in the league. Especially if you take out some of the larger markets. Grizzlies are incredible. Anyways, let's move on down to the Clippers.
I do want to give a take to you. I've given a take to you, this take to you before. I haven't ever given it to the broader public, and I want this to be on record before anybody else steals it. Desmond Bane looks like he looks like an actor playing a basketball player in a movie. So I just want
that's actually clutch. That's
but I will say he's got those Derek Martell muscles. So much respect to that.
Yeah. D Bane's the man.
I read on Wikipedia he's a devout Catholic.
Interesting. He's a unique player. Like everything about him seems unique. He doesn't seem like and not just from his physical stature and his play style, but like, I mean, to see a hulking guy who can shoot like 45% on threes and be buttery smooth, like, I don't know. That guy's a one of a kind in like 7 different ways.
Move over Simi Oily
J. So I guess we'll just keep moving down the standings there. We got the Clippers next. They've been rumored to do some pretty splashy things, upgrade the point guard position. People in the media have linked them to like Kyrie and even Russ, which seems bananas to me. I don't see them doing anything that large. They have a good rotation with good vets. They have good young players. Luke Kennard's like the best 3-point shooter in the league this year. Brandon Boston Jr. So I don't see them really doing a whole lot. Maybe they look at trading Brandon Boston Jr. Or maybe they think, hey, his stock's higher than the player we think he is. Now's the time. But as far as anything crazy splashy, I just don't see it. I guess do you have any thoughts on that? Would you like to see them do like the splashy move?
No, I know we got confrontational at part 1 of this episode in a fun way, but let's get this back to the heart of what this is, which is the Agree Cast.
The most agreeable podcast ever.
I think that this is a good chance for the Clippers to develop players while Kawhi's out a year, and I don't think Kawhi will
Yeah.
make any really significant impact this year. But next
Yeah.
year, with another year in the system of Ty Lue and Reggie Jackson and Paul George, like becoming secondary and tertiary players that can play alongside Kawhi, which I mean they still haven't really got the chance to do that. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Point.
I think they'll. I don't think they have serious aspirations of winning the title this year.
Well, yeah, and like I don't know. I just took a quick peek at their contracts, and they could pretty much run it back with all the same guys next to Kawhi. So I think that's what you do. But
yeah, like I said, I could see him maybe making a move on the fringes or something, trying to get better.
Well, and maybe it'd be different if the Suns, Warriors, Jazz, Bucks, and Nets. But to me, it seems very clear that there's like 5 contenders, and the Jazz is debatable just given their, historic, what they do in the playoffs. It becomes a different story if Kawhi gives some indication that he's coming back.
I'm going to be back for the last 20 of the regular season and be like all.
But even then, I don't even think if that changes what they do. Like if they could somehow buy super low on Kyrie, obviously you do that. But who's they would need. I don't know. I just don't see it. I don't know what
the Nets would want from them. That's like a legitimate return.
Yeah, I mean they could. They could piece together some wings and some salary filler. Eric Bledsoe. And give the Nets back some depth or something, but even
it's hard to even like gauge or assess Kyrie's trade value. Mm-hmm. Like I don't know what GMs like. I'm sure GMs around the league are like, okay, this is the Cavs was smoke, and then the Celtics thing was just like what the fuck, and now the Brooklyn thing is like, all right, how much do we want to risk like disrupting what we have for the chance that we have a player who's going to play or is on the court the majority of the time.
Ain't that the truth? Yeah. Any team that would make a move for him would have to get some serious indication that he's like all systems go. I don't see how you trade for him if he's not.
Whatever team does has to have, what we say around here, a big old nut sack on him.
Yeah. Big old never mind. I don't want to go too deep on that. Next up, we got
you're too corporate now, dude. I need to catch you at nighttime.
Exactly. Do the after hours cast. Yeah. No rules.
There's only one rule. There are no rules.
Yeah. There's only one rule. It's complain about the Pacers and Pelicans nonstop. I guess we'll go to the Lakers next. They're another team that's rumored to do some splashy stuff. I don't think they have the assets to do anything too crazy. I don't know.
We talked about this literally earlier, dude. It's like I asked you if you had I forget how I phrased the question. It was like, will Russell be traded at this trade deadline? And I think you said no. And I was kind of like, I don't know. I literally saw something today that's talking about them like not the fit, not expecting how they anticipate.
Yeah, but it's like just how many teams need a point guard and need a point guard like Russell Westbrook and have a package that I just don't see a match for them. Like it's fine and well to say these things, but do the Rockets want him back for John Wall and then you play John Wall?
Oh God, dude, John Wall, LeBron.
I mean, you love it, but it's just like how many true options? Like you need to find a team that has.
They'd figure it out, dude. Where there's a will, there's a way. We've learned.
Well, and I saw the package that I saw that actually seemed probably best for Lakers was like Kevin Love, Rubio. But why would the Cavs ever do that? The Cavs are playing incredibly well. Rubio and Kevin Love add a lot to that team. Chemistry seems nice. That just seems so bananas to me. There's nothing out there that I've heard that seems to make sense. So,
there are some dumb GMs, which we are about to get to, who knows what the fuck they'll do. So,
yeah, that's true. I don't know. What I would like to see the Lakers do, since I kind of root for them, I want to see LeBron stack titles. Yeah, I think it'd be cool if they were find some way to get Eric Gordon the way he's playing this year. But I don't know. I kind of doubt they find a way to make that work. What's your dream transaction for them?
I don't really know. Anthony Davis to get motivated.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's
them
a start.
Acquire a motivational person for Anthony Davis. I don't know. Like
Anthony Davis needs to look at what Miles Turner's doing. That's a hot take. Read the Miles Turner playbook.
Dude, hit one.
Learn how to shoot a three.
Yeah, hit a jump shot.
Yeah.
I mean, in all seriousness, though, like I just have a hard time. Like, every year LeBron's let down by whoever gets acquired. Every year. It's every year. If Eric Gordon comes over,
Yeah.
he'll get hurt. He'll be unreliable. I just know that's how it works. And so it's hard to get excited about any potential acquisition. It's not like, well, take that back. I don't know how realistic Buddy is, but I think Buddy'd be a cool fit. To have like they have like serviceable 3-point shooters, but have a marksman who's like complete green light all the time.
Yeah.
That would add another dimension to their offense with spacing, I feel like.
And I don't know if I hallucinated this. It seems like we're both kind of more in the add another wing that can do something and just put your foot down and say, hey, Anthony Davis, if you're going to suck this bad, you don't get to make the concessions. And I guess he hasn't sucked. He's played well this season, but some of his, it just seems like he falls flat and he hasn't been what they need him to be. Like, when do they say, okay, like we're trying to take what our personnel wants into consider? When do you draw that line and just say, hey, for this team to work, with as currently constructed, you either have to be a more willing and better shooter from the outside, or you have to move inside and be more of a rim runner. This like in between stuff that he does, just I don't know. I think he's as much, well, not as much of a problem with the fit as Russ is, but he's not doing them any favors.
Well, yeah, I think he's a better fit than Russ here. But like, if he's not playing well, then we can't blame Russ for this. This is Anthony Davis not providing the value he is required to provide.
Yeah. And, you know, I mean, we're tread water criticizing Anthony Davis.
It's like this situation is perfect for him, dude. He goes, plays with the Lakers, and he gets a lion's share of the praise when they do well, and it's like the Kawhi effect. No criticism when he does. I feel like he doesn't get criticized fair, but small pockets of criticism when it's like Russ has his games obviously, but like he's been shooting well as of late. LeBron obviously is still the best player in the league for my fucking money. And so,
he's making his case, that's for sure.
Who are we to blame? Who's it going to be? Are we going to blame Austin Reeves? No.
Or are we going to blame the 27-year-old generational big who was supposed to be like some Bill Russell, Tim Duncan hybrid KG guy who's this should be peak of powers AD. Why is he nowhere near Giannis? They're like pretty much the same age. You know, they do similar.
But I think to be fair, though, you and like that's the general discourse. But it's like I think you and I both are like Anthony Davis is nowhere near Giannis.
Yeah, I mean,
and hasn't been.
We've always tempered our expectations with AD, and that's not just like a recency. That's not a Lakers thing.
Oh God,
that goes. I mean, there
day one.
I can vouch for you on this. There was like the one half season where you fell in love with AD, and then the next season he's just like, yeah, I'm not playing. Please trade me. Yeah,
it took me like 8 years to get warmed up to him, and then
it finally happened, and then was gone.
Pulled the rug out.
Yeah,
love you, AD.
That's what I think of you. AD, but anyways, we'll keep it moving. The other target I thought I've not seen Justin Holiday mentioned anywhere, but I don't see why teams don't look at him as like he's the 3-and-D guy we want. I think he's one of the most underrated role players in the league, though.
You know what's interesting to me? Did you see he's not vaccinated?
Yeah.
And did you see Drew's in like the PSAs for the vaccine? That's weird. That's weird to me that they come from the same family. They seem like all the brothers are close.
Yeah, they're very close.
I believe they have a sister. And I don't know. That's just weird. That'd be like, you know, I don't know. That's just it has nothing to do with basketball. I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah. I guess I mean, the reason to mention it is because it's kind of surprising. You just assume people from the same, like you said, if they're same upbringing, pretty close, they have the similar values. But, you know, I mean, that's the whole thing with the vaccine. It's, you know, the personal choice question, which we don't want to get into that. I don't think that is not that's not what I want to do. So
okay. You're just looking real
corporate,
right
dog.
You're looking real scary right
corporate. Now. I guess we'll keep it moving. Got the Mavs next. No vaccine talk, you psycho dude. I got my vaccine card on me, so
we already talked about it earlier this episode. If you will.
Yeah. The Mavs, I don't know what it is. They do not know how to build a team around Luka. They've given no indication that they know how to do that. And some of the blame, obviously, you know, should be on Luka's shoulders coming in, you know, not taking the season super seriously with his conditioning.
Have you seen his haircut when he cuts his hair real short? Looks disturbing, dude. He looks like a baby.
Yeah, he really does look like a fat 13-year-old kid sometimes, which is like, yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck?
I don't know. I think Malik Beasley is a guy they should look at. I know they already have a couple guys in that mold, but I don't know. Seems like the Malik Beasley coming off the bench thing just doesn't work.
I don't see much in the way of assets for the fucking Mavericks. I feel like like Kristaps obviously is what he is at this point with his value is never gonna be what it
Mhm.
was back in New York. But like, well, maybe it could, but I don't think it will be. And then aside from that, there's not like a bunch of guys like Jalen Brunson,
Well,
maybe like
they have role players on decent contracts that nobody's thrilled about. Like, I don't think there's any team out there saying like, "Hey, we need to get Dwight Powell or Dorian Finney-Smith in here." They got like Jalen Brunson and Luca are. I
their
mean,
two
can you
best
think of
players, you could
their
argue.
and can you think of their recent draft picks? Like, I know there's that Josh Green guy who's just sits on the bench. He was supposed to be like a ready-made 3-and-D wing, but
Yeah, they've
um,
had a lot of success in the draft lately. Doesn't
well,
seem
yeah,
like.
with the way they've been drafting and the guys that they
Well, but
bring
that can be
in.
said about a lot of teams, though. It's hard to
Well,
get nail draft picks.
well, yeah, it's tough, but then like you have to start nailing some of these things because if you're gonna flub it there, and then you're
Right.
gonna seems like they flubbed it with the zinger, and then their other big salary piece they have is THJ, who I believe in THJ. I don't know why things aren't working. He's gotten off to a pretty slow start, but um, two of your like probably three most expensive guys on your team are Porzingis and Tim Hardaway Jr. That's just you just don't have
Yeah.
enough top end talent.
It's that hawk shit, dude.
Yeah, I mean, but worse almost, I
Yeah,
feel
I
like.
agree. I would agree with that.
And
I like John Collins better than both those guys. Although I love, me, I love Tim Hardaway too.
yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I hope they can find something to put around him, at least move in the right direction. I don't think they have the assets to make like a splashy move that drastically changes their season. Like, I know they've even been linked to Kyrie, but I'm just like, if you're the Nets, what do you look at and say, like, yeah, that's what we want instead of, I don't
I don't know
know.
what they want.
I don't know what the Mavericks are going to do. That was the first team that kind of made me scratch my head. Like, I know they need to improve. They probably want to improve, but I just don't see a way that they do it. It seems like mostly lateral moves. Maybe they find better fits, if anything.
Yeah, I mean, that's always a thing too. I mean, shit
Mm-hmm.
really does matter.
Yeah. I don't
Nah,
know. I think we're kind of in agreement on that one. I do think that Kyrie that one would be interesting to me though.
Kyrie and Luka next to each other.
Yeah, that'd be one of the more interesting pairings.
It'd be interesting fit. Yeah, two
Um,
very ball dominant. Well, Kyrie has proven he can
he
play off the
started to
ball.
slot over to the two guard. And,
Yeah, I take that back. Kyrie can do
um,
anything.
yeah. I mean, he can cut, he can slash, moves off ball. He's a wonder.
He's a star.
A wunderkind. What about the Nuggets? Do
The
you see them doing
Neguetes.
anything?
I feel like their hands are tied with all their injuries. Like, like they
Yeah.
could obviously they can trade, but it's like, what are they? I mean, they talk. I mean, the Nuggets continue to like find guys that can play meaningful minutes, like Bones
Mm-hmm.
Highland and what's the other dude? He's
Zeke Naji.
yeah, Zeke Naji.
Mm-hmm.
They just find guys who can play. They're just like they're another beacon of just like player development and how to build things the right way. I know you and I've talked personally about this a number of times with like how they
Yeah.
build things and like how sustainable it's been. I mean, obviously they haven't achieved too much, but
Yeah.
I don't know because it's like they built this team to succeed, and then they lost two of their four best players. Like they still
Two of
have
their
AG.
three,
Well, yeah,
I would say.
yeah, you could argue that. And so that's hard to succeed. I mean, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't like what are you going to do? Like, because you anticipate Jamal Murray coming back healthy next year, and maybe at some point this year, but some point next year you'll have him back, and it's like, I don't know, what do you do this year?
Yeah, just the little bit I've seen and knowing their roster construction, I think at a certain point you need to look at like some perimeter creation help.
Will
Um,
Barton,
yeah, he's
we talked
good,
about his nutsack before.
but do you want like you got to have more than that? I think if you really want to be like a legit, even
I know, but it's
pretender.
like I know, but it gets. I feel like it gets to the
But
point where it's like they've lost. Why they had depth, they
mhm.
had what they needed, but they've lost that, and it's not something you just replace by like
This is the team though that I look at Dennis Schroeder and I'm like, he's expiring. Probably don't got to give up a whole lot. Like Celtics, all the Celtics need back in that is probably a pick, and they say this is a win for us. A Nuggets pick's
yeah,
never going to be very valuable. Throw, an end of the bet, get rid of Bol,
yeah.
and maybe that's enough of an asset to even get a rental of Schroeder. But like, I don't know. I think if they want to like if they just say, you know what, we still have Jokic, and let's just see how far he can take us, I think you do look at adding a piece. But if they stand pat at it, it wouldn't shock me either.
Yeah.
But they're a team that I root for, so like I want to see them improve. I want to see, I might be more because I don't like the Mavericks, so like maybe I'm like, maybe they won't get anybody. But I want to see this Nuggets team. I just want to see Jokic play as much basketball as possible. So whatever allows him to make a deep, yeah. A lot of their players are awesome. So,
do you like when AG wears his fro up?
Oh yeah,
He's so hot.
Yeah, creep, dude. He's so hot.
He's such a baller, dude. Fuck, literally so cool.
I guess do you want to move on to the T-Wolves?
Yeah, sure.
Do you think the Ben Simmons to the T-Wolves thing? Do you think that'll come to
what
fruition?
Would the deal be? They have to get rid of D'Angelo Russell.
That probably like the Jaden McDaniels, whatever young players the Sixers want. Probably Malik Beasley,
Jared Vanderbilt.
But I don't know. That's been one of the more rumored ones. So I feel like we have to mention it.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I've seen Ben Simmons linked about 1,000 teams at this point, and I'll believe when I see it. I mean,
if you were the GM of the T-Wolves, what do you think? What would you do? Would you make the move for Simmons? No.
I mean, they finally have their core together. They've been sucking each other's dicks over, and they're playing well. Like, give it more than 25 games.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Like, and I understand, like, you have to strike when you have a chance to get better. And this Ben Simmons situation is a very rare situation where you can get, like, significantly better in, like, the drop of a hat. But I don't know. Like, I feel like you give it at least one season.
Yeah.
And I mean, it all depends on what you have to go. It's like, if it's Ben Simmons right for D'Lo, it's like, you have to start looking at fit, too, though, because it's like Jared Vanderbilt plays meaningful minutes on the Timberwolves. He's not a floor spacer. If you're playing him and Ben Simmons together, Anthony Edwards, I feel like, is a streaky shooter. Then you have Karl Anthony Towns, who obviously can shoot. And so it's like you're not getting very much in the way of floor spacing if that's like your crunch time lineup.
Yeah.
I mean, who are they going to put out there? Pat Beverly as well. Like, I mean, that could be like there's some defensive potential there if like those are your guards.
I just think like if you view Ben Simmons, Cat, and Anthony Edwards as like if you make this move and you're just like, okay, this is it. This is the actual core. We're not like bringing in D'Lo as like hey, please stay with us, Cat. I think if that's the route they go, those three players can fit on the court together pretty well. I mean, I understand that like some of the other role play, but I don't think you let like unless you think
I'm not going to make this trade because Jared Vanderbilt.
Yeah, I think you say either Jared Vanderbilt finds a way to figure it out and fit in, or he's not the right fit for this team. I think Ben Simmons. I'm almost working myself into a shoot. I just think the T-Wolves have, if a Ben Simmons experiment will ever work, if he never wants to shoot, pairing him next to a big like Karl Anthony Towns is probably the best situation you could ever ask for.
Kind of like Philly.
Yeah, but I mean, Embiid eats up a lot of the, the interior as well. Like Cat just wants to be, 30 feet from the basket.
Yeah, that's true.
Like it opens up the dunker spot. It opens up the paint, opens up the driving lanes a little more than if he's paired next to Embiid. So that one feels like a coin flip for me.
Do you think that's his most likely landing spot?
No, but I think that's probably the best fit for him.
Interesting,
personally, and I still like Ben Simmons. So, yeah, I want that one to happen. I don't think it will though. I don't know. Sometimes splashy stuff gets talked about way more than like how likely it actually is.
Yeah, most stuff.
I guess we'll move on down to the Kings. They need to turn some of their like distressed assets, failed player development experiments into something. And then I don't know what they do. They need to improve. They need to make a run. They need to try to win games.
Well, they're a legitimate shot to play in this year where they'll get knocked out in the first playing game, but I mean, that's their prerogative.
Yeah, but I mean, like the play-in was made for teams like the Kings so they could have that consolation prize and make a better product. You have fewer teams like full-blown tanking. So
get 12th pick, continue to play the play-in game for the next 3 years. Power to them.
Go. Yeah.
It's like Harrison Barnes, everybody.
How crazy is it that that's their best case scenario though? That's sad for
Well,
Sacktown fans.
better than some teams, dude.
I'm like, well, at least you still got Zion. So I don't know. I guess it probably is.
I mean, I think they're. I see them more as like a place where people will try to pick the like.
Yeah,
we want a buddy.
We want
Harrison
Barnes.
Yep. Yeah, and it's like they have good young players. Like Therese Halliburton's obviously great. Like Rashawn Holmes, he'd be like a really good asset for teams.
I think they just need to look at Buddy Bagley at least and just say we are trading these two players before the deadline this year, and just say we're going to take whatever we want the most, but just be done with that. That black cloud hanging over them just needs to go away.
Yeah, I feel like move on.
I feel like they can never put their best foot forward until they just say, "Yep, mistakes were made. It's behind us. Let's focus on what's now."
Yeah, it's like, what are you accomplishing by like? I know they're trying to kind of like salvage Marvin Bagley by playing him now, but it's like, what are you accomplishing by like making him upset, having him in the locker room being not to say that Marvin Bagley was like a locker room cancer or anything, but you know, like it's like
you said, it's like,
there. Yeah, it's like just move on from some of this shit.
Yeah,
unless you're gonna have like a new front office and new coaching who's like, okay, we have these pieces, let's like kind of hit the reset button. Unless that happens, it's like you said, it's a culture thing. It happens with teams, and it sucks.
Well, yeah, it's I don't know the way they handle their players. I think that was it Buddy Hield that tweeted at Solomon Hill about like recovering from his injury.
Yeah.
That says everything you need to know. You know, maybe the players are unfairly harsh towards the Kings. Maybe the media is, but some of this stuff has to be rooted in truth. I mean, they're the team that needs new ownership. I think everybody knows that. But here we are. I think they're a team that should go after Sabonis, but they won't. And
I would feel bad for Sabonis having to go there. It's like, well, I mean, I'm sure Sabonis would like a fresh start too. I mean, I could see that with like if the pace, because if I were Sabonis, I'd be like, fuck all you guys. This is my team. I'm the two-time.
And he showed it again last night. He's shown it. I mean,
and it's like for them to be like literally putting you in trade talks and they're still trying to like quasi contend. It's like, if you want to contend, it's me, motherfucker, not Miles Turner.
I'm the two-time All-Star. I'm the innings eater. Like,
he literally is so reliable. He's like, he's tough. He's durable. He's like, I just don't get it. Like,
well, I mean, he's honestly been carrying the Pacers. Like, a lot of other people have gotten credit, but even going back to when he first got traded for and was in a bench role, it was, hey, if the starters can keep the game even with the other team starters, Pacers are going to win because their bench unit with Sabo just bullied teams. That's how it's always been. And, it's changed a little bit, obviously, with roster comp and stuff and his role. But I don't know. I don't understand the way this team gets covered. Anyways, we're talking about the Kings, not the Pacers.
The Indiana Kings.
Please, Kings, trade for Sabonis. Give him the keys to the kingdom. I want to see him go 100 touches a game again, like last year. Kings. I mean, we spent way too much time.
We're spending way too much time on every team.
Yeah, let's go to the Blazers.
This is comprehensive.
Give me your 20-second. What do you think the Blazers should do?
Should do or will do?
What do you think they should do?
How many seconds have I used?
Like 10.
I'm trying not to answer this. I mean, trade McCollum, I guess.
McCollum. Keep building around Dame.
Unless you can see a path or like find a package that like lets you keep McCollum and Lillard and add a more dynamic third player other than Nurkic. Because like I like Nurkic, but I just feel like if they had like, I mean, this is easy to say. If you added just like another really good player somehow, like, you might have to give up some young assets.
Well, yeah, Simons, Little, Nance, draft equity should get you something.
Yeah, and it's like if you could add a guy like, I don't want to say Harrison Barnes, but like just a guy who's like versatile and like can defend and like provide value on both sides of the ball, but also be a really good offensive player. That could go a long way with them. I mean, they literally made the Western Conference Finals, albeit in a kind of a weird year, 2 years ago, and it's like.
Well, and they were playing that Warriors team tough too, even though they got mollywopped in the series.
Even though they
choked like 4 games.
Even though they had the clutch gene of a New Orleans Pelicans team, but
didn't they have the lead going into every fourth quarter or something?
I think so.
Dame time.
Yeah. I take back what I said earlier in this podcast. It's only Jokic. Anyway,
Seriously.
what do you think they should do?
I mean, I already kind of gave my answer. I think you trade him for whatever the biggest package is, and you just say, "All right, we love you, Dame." I think with all the
Trade
drama
Dame?
surrounding, yeah, I think you try to get the
Crazy
King's
bitch.
ransom. His value is only going to go down from here. I think it might have a slight uptick, but I don't think teams look at him this year and be like, Dame's now an 18 point a night, 30.3 point
Yeah, his
shooter.
value is kind of set in stone, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think, unless he sustains like this level of play for a longer period of time, I don't think GMs have given up on Dame.
Oh, fuck
Um,
no.
so yeah, I mean that's what I think they should do. I don't think they will though. I think they'll they'll trade out Rocco for another forward who falls short of their expectations.
Yeah, I
They've
feel
been
like
doing this for
Rocco's
10
really let them
years.
down, dude.
I mean, Lillard has the same like almost like LeBron, where it's like there's some curse on Lillard where role players that they'll be like doing great, come to Portland, suck, go elsewhere and do great.
Right.
It's
It's
just
the
like,
Danny Green effect.
yeah, it's like, oh, like, 3-point percentage dropped by a third. Why would that ever happen? It's like, oh, because he's playing next to fucking LeBron.
Dude, I know. You remember like when the Spurs were playing the Heat back today? You and I used to be like, dude, if the Heat could just have somebody like Danny Green.
Lillard,
And
he's
I
shooting
know,
like 50% from three.
yeah, and then I know it was a lot later in his career, but even with the Raptors, he had a good finals. I'm like, dude,
Oh,
we
yeah.
just had somebody like Danny Green. Then he came to Lakers. I'm like, can anybody but this motherfucker be on the team?
Yeah.
I'd rather have Frank Vogel playing small.
I
forward.
want some there's got to be more to it than just like, hey, the media coverage and they bully the players in the big markets. And I love Danny Green. I still love Danny Green. I'm not the type that's going to be like, no.
Oh, fuck that.
It was
Trying to
disappointing.
throw the finals.
I feel like Dame has that same luck with role players, though.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
So we'll just move on down to the Spurs.
I broke my bat. Spinal.
Spinal. The Spurs, I think they're similar to the Grizzlies, in my opinion. I think they probably will try to do something. They obviously need to get rid of Thaddeus Young. Seems like that's just not working out.
I just wonder what's going on behind the scenes, like, because Pop's time seems to be winding down. I wonder how much he's like, you know what? Because I feel like his vision has to play into what the Spurs will do in terms of like getting rid of like their key pieces like DeJounte Murray or.
Well, yeah, it's like if they bring in Ben Simmons, does Pop say, "Hey, I got another 3 years in me"? If they don't bring in Ben Simmons, is he done after the season?
Yeah, I feel like
don't know.
I just would be. It'd be great to be a fly on the wall in those rooms with like RC Buford, Pop, and like
Spurs
just know like what their plan
trust.
is. Yeah, it's like, are we just going to sit here and kind of be passively developing guys and be all right and mediocre, or is it like, how much does Pop want to ride it out with these guys that he's been with, like these younger players he's been with for a few years? Or I don't know. I'd just be interested. I mean, I think if anything, they're going to have the same. They're going to have play the same roles of Kings at the deadline. Like, oh, you're looking for a veteran that can help you out here. We'll take a second round pick and a bench player. Well,
the trade that already looks like it's going to happen is the Jalen Smith for Thaddeus Young.
Thaddeus Young.
Spurs get another, prospect that fits their timeline that they could maybe flip at a later date, and Suns get that kind of win now. Swiss Army knife that they need. We'll try to get through these last few teams. I agree with you on the Spurs. I don't see anything crazy. I mean, there's a chance the Ben Simmons deal happens, but I'm not going to put any money on that. And now we're down to the bottom feeders in the West, so this will probably be quick.
How dare you?
Rockets just need to get rid of those vets. They've played well. It's been a fun story, but
it's time
embrace
to
the tank.
More,
it's over.
Add to the war chest.
Yep. That one's pretty obvious. The Thunder, they don't even have many vets left anymore. Just get rid of Derek Favors. Maybe
it's crazy how Mike Muscala's on that team though. Have we talked about that
true. Yeah, I think we did even on the pod. Maybe.
Yeah. How is he a Thunder? How is he a Thunder guy?
Yeah, for like 3 years now. It's copy and paste what we said about the Rockets, and then the Pelicans. No clue. I think this is a lost season.
Oh, fuck yeah, it is.
So what?
Lost decade.
If you're David Griffin, if you get to Freaky Friday with David Griffin, you got 24 hours. Do whatever you want. What do you do? as a Pelicans GM?
I don't know. Give up, sell the franchise.
Zooey mama.
Make sure everybody's out of the building and plant 30 sticks of dynamite.
Scathing.
I mean, what is there to do? This season's lost. Every season's lost. They always have injury problems. Nobody develops. They never have chemistry. They never. They have no culture. I mean, I really don't have anything positive to say about the franchise as a whole. I did hear, funny enough, today though, that they're shopping Jackson Hayes, which I know that I am a very high in Jackson Hayes, but you know, I think that a lot of the sentiment around the organization is this just isn't the right fit for him. But to be fair, this organization isn't the right fit for anybody. So I would hope that anybody could get as far away from the
I think
as humanly possible.
Anymore, it's almost becoming, like you said, it's more of a referendum on the organization. They take talented players, and I don't know if it's player development. I don't know if it's bad drafting. The players that they've been drafting that they need contributions from have not contributed to winning basketball.
Major step back this season.
Yeah,
which is disappointing because I really like him too.
He's a guy that everyone projected as like, you know, he could be that next Jordan Clarkson bench scorer type rotation player, and I haven't seen much positive. We'll see though.
From this franchise as a whole for 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, if you just look at their recent draft history and where they're getting contributions.
Hey, Herb Jones, dude,
got to get more out of the.
He's a starter. Maybe that says more about the talent on this franchise.
I think you're on something there. So I don't know. I mean, the Pelicans, that was the Mavs, them and the Clippers were the three teams that I was like, you could tell me anything and I'd believe it. They could move off Brandon Ingram. They could run it back and try and make a, push at the 10 seed again. Does it matter? No.
Yeah. All that.
No matter what they do, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. That's the sad part. All that stuff everybody's jacking off about with what they got for Anthony Davis is already running out. And they have nothing to show for it other than lost seasons. Well,
it's like with your draft history, if you're dog shit at drafting,
I'll push back. I don't think their drafting is that bad.
Well, I still think back to like way back, like Hilton Armstrong and Cedric Simmons. I'm like, I'm just like this. Well, I'm just saying, like, I don't have faith in them to do a whole lot. And maybe I was too harsh on them, but it's like a value of a draft pick is only as good as the people using it. So if you're dog shit at drafting and you're accumulating picks, maybe those picks don't mean as much. If you're bad at developing players, maybe draft picks don't mean as much. I think teams need to take a long, hard look in the mirror. And I get that nobody can be 100% every time, but certain franchises that just miss the mark.
You think they're just going to who knows? The rumors around the Pelicans are so rampant and wrong these days. It's
such a circus around them.
They were talking about trading Jackson Hayes to make it push the play-in game. And that's the dumbest thing. Like, if you want to trade Jackson Hayes, go for it. But it's like, A, how the fuck are they going to make the play-in game? B, why would you be pushing for that at this point? Well, you should be. They're like still playing. Willie Green's still playing like Satoransky and Garrett Temple. It's like, why the fuck?
Yeah, and they're not one or two pieces away.
Yeah, they're one or two pieces from being one or two pieces.
Yeah, they're healthy Zion plus one or two pieces.
No, they're one Zion away from the title, motherfucker.
Okay, they're one Zion away from like 8 seed.
You watch your God.
I mean, hey, all right, I'll believe it when I see it.
Dude, what?
It's not I'm not condemning Zion.
What do you think the Lakers are without LeBron?
Dog shit.
What do you think the Lakers are with LeBron? Championship contender.
Zion's not LeBron.
Closest thing.
You're insane.
He's a game changer.
He's an incredible player, but you are out your goddamn mind.
Well, did you see the latest Pelicans rumors? Since we're getting towards the end here, we can always wrap it up with the Pelicans thing. It was somebody who's closer. There was the report the other day about. I got the names mixed up. I need to remember these because they're Pelicans people. Some of them are, but the dude who reported yesterday or a couple days ago that Zion's skipping workouts, falling asleep, blah 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 blah. There's a motherfucker. I think he was on the low post today. Andy Lopez. Maybe he's a. I think he's significantly closer to the. He's actually a credential.
Yeah, he is
reporter.
The ESPN basketball guy on the Pelicans beat.
He's not just some dude who like has some connections. like
Mhm.
the dude who previously reported. He's like, Zion has like missed sessions, but he like it was organized ahead of time because he had other stuff going on.
Mhm.
He's been very strict with his regimen and stuff. Like people are speculating maybe it's just damage control on the Pelicans organization part to like feed this to somebody and get it out there and good PR for Zion. But it's
Mhm.
like again, I don't. I'm so sick of the bad talk around Zion. It's like and have you seen him? All these motherfuckers talking about him. Have you seen him? Have you seen him
Yeah.
play?
Right.
Do you know what he looks like? Fuck no, you don't. You just took it from this person who took it from this person who took it from this person.
Well, yeah, and like a lot. I mean, we always want to hold like media and stuff to like higher standards, but it's like they fall for the same stupid effing like Photoshop and like bad shady reporting that the common people do. They they'll they'll take something factually wrong and blow it up. We see that all the time, and like basketball's no exception to the rule, and it's especially crazy around Zion over the last 6 months. This has been I hope there's a referendum on this stuff. I hope like everybody wants to like move the culture forward away from this stuff, but then it's everybody's worst instinct. We all click the headlines, so
Yeah, bunch of
um
bitches.
it's just and sorry to just keep going back to this, but I just cannot believe some of the stuff I see the way this Pelicans team's covered.
Or ran.
Well, yeah, I mean that's a whole other issue. But who knows? It's they're pretty close to rock bottom, I feel like, so maybe you can only go up.
Yeah,
But
how can you rock bottom have a generational talent? Only the Pelicans could find that.
and like I'd say an all-star player with like all NBA ceiling in Brandon Ingram.
I might push back on that at this point. Like watching him play,
I
you think he's
again,
one
I
of the top
don't I don't
six
think
forwards
he's
in the league? I don't know.
I don't think he's reached his ceiling, but I think he could flirt with an all NBA second or third team at some point in his career. If I don't think it's likely. I just think
Yeah.
that's his ceiling. Like, I don't know, but I've always been higher on Brandon Ingram than some people. So
Yeah.
I don't know. These weird like high usage wings that people want to give up on in their second year. I always am like, that's my guy.
Yeah.
Weird archetype to love.
Every time.
So, well, I think that kind of wraps it up for our kind of trade primer. I know we always lean into the homerism, but both of our teams have, could be major, they could impact things around the trade deadline. So I think it's well warranted that we bring them up.
We will see. Time will tell. Time will tell.
But yeah, I mean, things are going to start moving fast here in the next few days on the NBA transactions.
Yeah,
so, and again, sorry to everyone for the technical difficulties. We are going to try to continue to do better.
The
We're going to be better, guys.
I'm going to make it worth your while. You'll see. This is the first Wax Chronicles episode that will be edited. And so
only because we were legitimately forced to.
But with that said, I did put more than 1% effort into it, and you all be rewarded if you stick through the entire thing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not so much the entire thing, just the first 2 things.
All right. Well, I think that wraps it up. I'm sure we'll record another episode next week. So if you guys have any thoughts on trade rumors and things, feel free to leave a comment.
Yeah, tell us how right we are about everything.
If you want some more infield reporting, reach out to Tanner.
I'm good for it.